What's up, gamers? What's up, gamers? Alright, so... What's up, gamers? Downloading a Need for Speed Unbound update. Getting some watch-alongs ready for the day. Going to start with a funny old episode of Bad Friends hosted by Bobby Lee and Andrew.
You two are bad friends.
Who are these two idiots?
Asian dude. You two are disgusting.
Well, you two or something.
We're bad friends.
How do I not get a call from any of you saying, hey, we are doing a show. It's official.
Because we're scared.
What do you mean? Oh, the cartoon?
Yeah, like
Because it's 30 years away.
we tell the people in our ecosystem first, and then we go outside of that, like
Right.
the mailman.
And then, after those guys,
Yeah,
then you hear.
Yeah, then you hear.
You hear about third.
Mailman, third cousins,
Yeah.
right?
I've never heard it.
I got a
Yeah,
student of mine to text
Yeah.
me, hey, I saw this in the press, congratulations on the show. Like,
Well, let me tell you something. We didn't know that they were going to put a release out that day. They were asking us about it. Called Bobby 6 times, wouldn't answer the phone. I said, "Where were you all day?" And then he goes,
Stardew Valley farming, dude.
"It's unbelievable
Farming?
Yeah.
There's a picture of the kids right there. There's us three.
How funny is my insert?
Yeah. I gotta tell you, it actually looks nice.
You're not in that. That's your real, right?
Yeah, it's real, but I'm not in the actual photo.
Yeah, but
Oh, they
that's
put you in there.
the Photoshop.
Oh, I see.
that's because of what's going on overseas right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't have a photo of you.
I, mean,
Yeah.
I know you're pro-Israel, but
Yeah, don't read the comments.
Don't read the comments. Yeah, don't read the comments about it.
These are
so let me ask.
Go ahead, buddy.
The Rolly Poly farms a lot in the show.
Yeah, that's all he does. By the way, in
Wait, you
this,
just call me Roly Poly?
You are on Rolly Poly, I just read it.
Yeah, in the show, not in real life.
I'm saying
Oh, in the farm. Oh, yeah.
but
I know.
yeah,
You're right.
I still checked the fucking comments, even though they said not to.
yeah. Let's hear it. Get to it.
Sorry.
What's the question?
Oh, yeah. What? Nick? Not talk last time. Nick Crease.
Price.
Crease. Price.
Yeah.
Until we get the show off the ground, it's Crease.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Price.
Yeah.
I've been calling you Crease for years.
For 15 years.
And you never corrected me. That I hate when that happens.
That's your fault. You've definitely been corrected. You just don't.
Hey,
absorb
Billy,
it.
it's Biley. I've been calling you Billy for 15. You know what I mean? I don't like.
You call Biley Smiley Billy?
Yeah.
That's insane.
All right. So, Nick and I were talking last night. And can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When I talked to you on the phone, you seem like you want to get off real quick.
No, I'm worried about the same thing with you.
Yeah, you do want to get off the
Dude,
phone.
I'm a moment guy. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, you're on the phone for a moment and then you want to hang up.
No, I live in the moment.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm present. I live in the moment and I listen to everything you're saying. But you're like, all right, come on, hurry up. And I don't like that.
That's projection.
It is projection.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you're so smart.
This is why we got him.
Price, huh?
Yeah.
I love it. So there he is.
Oh, that's when I did At Midnight, the original At Midnight.
I did it too.
You did? How many times did you do it? Yeah. Did you win ever? Never. Yeah, never won. I don't think I won once.
Like Family Feud.
Oh, with Tim Simons.
Arden.
Oh, he's tall, man.
We got cool. Anyway,
Look at how short you are. You're shorter than Arden fucking
shut
Aaron.
the fuck up, dude.
She's like 4'2".
I know.
She's so tiny. That's insane to be tiny.
All right, guys.
Look, Tim Simons is 6'6".
Yeah, he's tall.
But still, you were smaller than Arden, who is a tiny, tiny person.
Move on. Let's move on.
No problem.
Your problem.
No, this is, you know what your problem is?
What's my problem?
I'll tell you what my problem is. When the movers unscrewed the TV stand,
Oh, here we go.
they've lost the screws. So now, I have a TV on the floor, and I sit on the floor.
That's what you call Geek Squad, dude.
Oh, you mean the
Best Buy.
Best Buy guys?
They
No,
do that?
not calling Geek Squad.
Oh.
No, I just can't get screws right that fit. That's me. With a case of Natty Light, no
Imagine you
furniture.
lived in that apartment. Oh my god. That was what used to be my life.
But I got a word to the wise.
Why is it the
If you
word?
got extra trash, don't call Got Junk. Call Los Angeles Sanitation Department. All you have to do is put in a request and they'll pick it up.
Yep. I just
Whoa.
paid gut trash.
You don't even have to pay for that. They'll just pick it up. You just have to let them know you have more shit. And I was like, that's all I have to do all
What
these
call?
years?
Precor.
Precor.
He eats it.
I'm hungry. Oh, I got a question. I posted on Instagram this morning. This is a real poll. I haven't thought about this in a long time, but I had a cup of coffee, and I know mid-cup I'm gotta poop. It's about half a cup, and I have to poop. What's your number? How much of a cup of coffee do you have to poop?
If I have buffalo mozzarella, right?
With
and
a cup of coffee?
With a cup of coffee, dude.
Oh, that's-
bro. It's what you went through last week. It's instantaneous.
Because the
Diarrhea.
poll is in right now. So far, we've got 41% of people have to say that before they finish a cup of coffee, they have to shit. 36% say within an hour.
Yeah.
Do you go?
I right away. But
Well, that's IBS.
IBS.
Yeah.
I don't mean to brag, but I have IBS. No, I wish.
IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. He's Jewish. You know when you guys are born,
Easy.
you know how we all get like vaccinations and all that stuff for tetanus and that. Do they give Jewish kids IBS?
IBS.
They give it to them in the hospital.
It's a requirement. You can't leave without it.
Can't live without it.
I did my 23andMe and I'm 100% IBS.
I'm serious about the coffee thing. What is it? I can't finish a cup. I gotta go. Sometimes I bring the cup in the bathroom, which
But just do Red Bull. That's what I do.
what is Red Bull? Bud? Do you even know what it is?
Battery acid.
It's bullshit. It's fucking trash.
It's not good.
It's so bad for your body.
Oh fuck, man. Oh no.
Water,
Just
sugar,
finding this
glucose,
out?
citric acid, taurine. What is taurine?
It's the best.
Yeah, what is?
From the plant taurine. Taurinus alabaganda.
It's an essential amino acid for babies.
That's
Adults
exactly
can make their
correct.
own taurine, but there are high amounts of it in
Why?
fish. You are a big baby.
Can I ask? Taurine that makes me do that. May I ask my question now, or do you want to shit rant?
Go ahead. I'll get off of it.
Right, so I called you last night. So how many dates do you go on before the kiss happens?
If you're good, you probably get it on the first date.
All right, so I've been dating this girl. This is 2 days.
Hey,
Girl.
go ahead. Bathhouse, 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 bathhouse. You want to get out of here?
All right.
All right. So you went on a date, a couple of dates with this
No,
girl.
why do you do that?
It gets the whole room in a vibe.
I get into it, and then I lose my
Yeah.
train of thought. Bathhouse. Bathhouse.
All right. 2 dates or 3 dates?
So tonight I'm going on the third date.
Where to? This is important. Because if you're not getting the kids, this is where you
I've
take them.
taken her to nice restaurants. What are you talking about?
Like,
Thank you.
Oh fuck. The first time we went out was I don't want to say it.
You can, because it's over.
I know, but
you don't want to seem rich.
What is it?
it's
We got the meats.
that's my go-to spot with every date. So I don't want the other girls that I've gone
That's fine.
and they go, well, that's why he took me.
There's no way we think girls don't know that you're taking them out to the same places. Of course you are. We're creatures of habit. You go to 6 places. All of us go to 6 places.
Yeah.
Pache.
For me, it's Chipotle, California Pizza Kitchen,
No, be real.
the Vons in the Valley. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
It's the same 6 places.
All right, but
I don't stray.
But okay, the 6 places, right? That if you're going on a date with, what are they? I have mine.
You got your 6.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm fucking married. We don't go on dates.
I know, but just hypothetically, if you were single, where would you go?
Where would I take them? Probably to East Side shit. East Side shit's hip shit. That's where he lives.
Pache. No, Pache's not.
No, Pache's over by us.
Little Dom's.
Little Dom's is great.
That's good, yeah.
People like Bestia.
Yeah.
I went to Mother Wolf.
I like Mother Wolf.
Wolf's fun.
And Funk. That's him, same guy.
Fun. That's good, yeah. I go to Damien.
Yeah, Bar Flores. Yeah.
Damien's great.
Damien's. We talk about Damien all the time.
Damien's great. And then Bastille across the street from there.
Yep.
Hippo.
Right.
Hippo's good. That's his nickname.
I was talking about his mom.
What's that about?
I thought we'd move past that.
What is that?
I know you're right. You're right.
What were you doing right there?
I'm being aggressive.
What is that right there that you think you were doing? What do you think you were doing?
Aggressive again. I'm so sorry.
Do you think that was a good idea?
That wasn't a good idea.
That wasn't a good idea.
I think that one's gonna sit with me for a minute.
Will you please let that one go?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Ask the question.
I already did. So how many do you think? So tonight's the third day.
She better kiss you on the third date. That's crazy. Third date, you don't even get like a peck?
Friend zone after that.
Yeah, that's oh wow.
Yeah.
Spanish has
Said it with
spoken.
this accent. Oh,
The
Right.
Spanish is spoken.
Amigo zone.
Yeah, amigo zone.
Oh, amigo.
That hurt.
Amigos on it.
Big friend zone.
Oh my! Everybody in their everyone in this room.
Everyone.
Everyone's been.
No one is immune to the
You've been friend zone.
Of course.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Dude, I got friend zoned one time so hard in college. I went over to this fucking girl's dorm who I like crushed on.
Yeah.
Was putting in all the work, trying to do the right thing. She's like, "Come on over and hang out," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, maybe this is it." I go to her fucking dorm.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm kicking it, taking it easy, not trying to be aggressive, no moves, nothing.
Great song.
We're
about
hanging
the
out.
Eagles.
Take it easy. Take it.
Bathhouse.
Easy.
Bathhouse.
I'm sitting on the like one of those what were they called, the big bean
Bathhouse.
bags.
Bathhouse.
Love
Bathhouse.
Remember
Bathhouse.
those?
Bathhouse.
You know what
Bathhouse. Bathhouse.
What?
Your mom.
You motherfucker! I'm sitting on a love sack on her dorm room floor, and in walks the guy that she's fucking.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Pain.
"This is my friend Andrew. This is so and so." And I was like, "Hey, buddy." And she literally goes, "Do you want to hang out and finish? We were watching it. Do you want to finish this? We're gonna go grab something to eat." I was like,
Yeah.
"Hell, just hang." I just hung out in the dorm by myself.
That guy now is what he does for a living.
Yeah. That guy.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me guess. Keep going.
That's not a bad. It's not a bad.
Wait.
That's not a bad line.
No, mime it. I want to see what maybe I can guess.
Oh,
What
you want to guess it? All right.
Let's see.
Picking grapes.
No. Digging graves? Is that what you guessed? Keep doing it. Let me see if I can. Keep
I'm
doing it.
playing high lie.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yeah. You're never gonna guess.
I was just trying to get you some exercise.
You're never gonna guess.
What does he do?
What?
I was just trying to get you some exercise.
He pulls rope.
Oh, he's a rope puller. Oh,
I'm the caboose.
you really are.
And I do this like this. All right. Then what is this?
Nailing Jesus to the cross.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing I can.
Bro, that's so good.
That guy did a great job.
Good job.
He hung up there for a while.
Yeah. So
Third date, you got to get a kiss.
I think if you don't, then you kind of know it's amigo. time.
You're amigo.
But can I say this?
And by the way, we're not advocating. You don't have to kiss anybody. But if by the third date you're not romantically interested in someone, ladies, tell him.
But with Kalila back in the day, it took me 8 days.
Really?
Yeah.
To open up those floodgates?
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
It took me like 8.
I thought she would've-
hung in there.
She really
Yeah.
liked the restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, Larchmont wine and cheese didn't cut it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
That's interesting. That changes things.
yeah.
8
Because
days?
yeah, because sometimes when
Maybe she was fighting off an infection. It could have been a couple of days.
like
where
mad cow or something.
no, like a UTI. Maybe she had
Oh.
something she didn't want to let you in.
8? Kalila, you mean 8?
Yeah, maybe at the beginning she was fighting off something. She was on her period, or you never know.
Possibility.
Yeah. I
It
was.
seems like a
Well,
likely.
no, I was in competition. So yeah.
You were competing against other guys with her,
She was single. There was other options.
so she wanted to see if you were worthwhile.
I think more time plays well for you, though, Bobby.
Why? Why?
Interesting argument,
Yeah.
Council.
Well, people get to know you. You can't help but fall in love with them.
I guess that's true.
But not love at first sight.
You are definitely not love at first sight, unless it's.
Second sight? Am I love at second sight?
I mean, your love is blind.
Love is blind, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So sometimes I do. My personality, I can get in there, but it's like it just takes so much like.
The
effort.
reason this is bothering him, he doesn't know, is last week we talked about he went in for a smooch and he got cheeked.
That's the same girl.
I know. So I got to
You
tell
didn't
you.
tell me that.
Yeah.
I told you last time about cheap.
Yeah, you got cheeked. You talked. He got
She
cheeked.
got out of the car real quick.
This is why I think this is not. This girl doesn't want to be. She wants to be a homie. She likes you as a human.
That makes me so sad. I like
Just text her, kiss or not.
no.
Just send a poll.
Yeah. Do an Instagram poll. Will this chick kiss me tonight? She'll
Well,
see
this
it.
is what I'm gonna do. You want to hear my fucking thing? Are you being real?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants
So,
to hear it. We all do.
If it doesn't happen, I kind of don't want.
Come on. It will
You
happen.
pull a gun out, kill
It
yourself.
has to
right in
happen.
front of her.
Yeah.
We gotta make it happen.
This is your fault.
Yeah. And I wanna and then I like moving on
You never talk to her again.
because basically what happened to me.
Okay.
I don't know if we're gonna talk about this, but right when this was live, right, I went on a date with a girl. Same thing, 2 or 3 days,
Mhm.
right, and then she was at the comedy store. I hadn't seen-
Recently.
Yeah, I hadn't seen her since then, and
At the comedy store?
like I hadn't seen her in like over a year and a half.
Ooh, that's hot.
My point is that sometimes you plant the
Absence.
seed,
Yeah.
plant the seed, and they grow up.
Those bonsai trees grow real slow, but they do grow. That's the point. It's a long game. It's a 100-year game.
Yeah.
You're playing the 100-year
When
game.
Mr. Miyagi was cutting the bonsai tree in the original Karate Kid.
Yeah, best movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
So good.
But what's the point, guy?
Oh, see, you don't know. You missed.
When I was watching it in the theater, I'm like, that's what you do?
No, you missed it completely.
You're like the Benny Gesserit.
It's patience. It's meditation.
But he doesn't even sell it on eBay. He just kind of has them.
Well, he had a Pinterest for a while. I think Mr. Miyagi.
He did.
Yeah.
Man, look at him. No pussy.
That was his OnlyFans back then. That's what OnlyFans was, trimming bonsai trees.
And then look at Rock Macho. He's like, you fucking loser.
Dude, by the way, Ralph Macchio, same age today that he was then.
Yeah.
See a photo of this guy?
I've met him.
What baby blood is he drinking that he looks
He
that good?
is also
Look at how handsome that guy
the
is.
nicest guy you will ever fucking meet.
Not surprised. Great
Just
actor,
a
such a good dude.
Great guy.
Give me the age of this gentleman now.
He's 62.
Shut the fuck up. That guy's 62 years old. That guy's 62.
How did I fucking know that, dude?
Well,
That was good, right?
wow.
One of the nicest guys in the world. I love that.
So fucking handsome.
How did you know that?
What?
How did you know he was 62?
Doing some late night Googling.
No, that's not what it, I think
Yeah.
I think because the night I met him, right? So I was hosting this thing called the Asian Excellence Awards. Right?
So, welcome back to the Asian Excellence Awards. Why would they use a word like excellence with Asians? The Excellence Awards. Of all words to use. The Asian Excellence Awards. Hosted by JC. Oh shit, dude.
Currency.
Yeah.
I like that.
Alright, times have changed. Alright, so you're
Back
hosting.
in the day.
Yeah. So you're hosting the
Believe it or not,
I believe it. Trust me, I see it. The Asian Excellence.
Tarantino did it.
Is he Asian? No, but he likes
because
Asian shit.
Kill Bill and stuff. So he was on the show. That's where I have a photo on Instagram where I met, and we have a photo together. That's when I met him. Danny DeVito, and then Ralph Macchio was there too.
No, these guys are fucking Asian. Ralph Macchio did an Asian. He did Karate Kid. Danny DeVito, why the fuck was he there? Because he's short like you guys?
Short like an Asian.
If you don't look at his eyes, he could be.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
From the back. I'm like, look at that little Korean guy running away.
yeah. So, Ralph Macchio was there, and I remember. I mean, not that the other people there were rude. It's just he was more available.
He was just nice.
He's a moment guy. Like,
Yeah.
He's a moment guy. Yeah, he was just like,
Yeah.
and I talking to me, and I was just like, and my brother when he was drinking was there.
That's when he was still using.
What?
That's when he was
Well, my
using.
brother was so Danny DeVito, Tarantino, and Ralph Macchio. They were sitting backstage on these couches. My brother was on the outskirts drinking,
No.
completely drunk, and he kept walking up to Ralph Macchio. I swear to God, going, and then backing up.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, and I would go. I remember going, Steve, stop! Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like fucking like a stony, drunk.
I love
piece
your
of shit.
brother.
Yeah, he didn't know any
By
better.
the way, those three guys, fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito, Ralph Macchio, and
Fuck, Mary Kill, Asian.
and Tarantino. Yeah, fuck, marry, kill. Tarantino, Danny DeVito, and Ralph Macchio. Fuck
Marry Ralph Macchio.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, probably kill Danny DeVito.
You'd have to kill Tarantino because the name of the sake of his films. Kill Bill, kill Quentin.
That's true. But then you'd have to fuck Danny DeVito.
How fun to toss that guy around.
that's easy. That's the easy part.
He's a spinner.
Yeah, maybe, okay.
You fucking
Well,
connect
he's the
him.
same size as me.
Right, you too.
We could 69, it would be like...
Just like two blueberries rolling around in the
yin and yang.
Because usually when I 69, I have to...
Yeah.
You mean I have to reach.
A jumping.
Yeah.
But you know, you guys, because you're both like little rotund bellies, it's like two magnets of the same side. You just can't they just can't connect. They just can't touch.
I had a girl once say that, like, yeah, I like that you have a belly because it rubs into my clit and I pump with it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wow, it does that?
Your belly goes down that far?
Yeah, I guess it does that.
My God.
Yeah, anyway,
That's a
I never
tip
thought
for
about that.
guys out
That's
there.
smart.
Okay.
That's
Anyway,
so
so,
smart.
If she
Ralph
doesn't-
Macchio, great guy.
Ralph Macchio is the guy that we would marry.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
Stick, anyway.
Floor's yours.
Okay, oh, sorry, my bad. You're the captain, right?
You better believe it. 2-2.
I'm Spock.
Ahoy.
Yeah. You're Kirk, I'm Spock.
By the way, put me on a boat and I get so gay. Put me on a fucking
Yeah.
boat and I get gay.
Check off. You're a check off.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so, let me ask you something. So, what I want to say is, I was thinking about last night, when I laying down, and can I show you what my room looks like now?
This is your new interior design. room.
This is just one part of it.
Wow. That looks beautiful.
It's beautiful.
I hope so, for the money.
Yeah, I love being in there. Anyway, I was laying in bed in my beautiful room, listening to some tunes.
What do you listen to?
I was listening to Sarah Morgan's Ice Cream.
Really? That's
Song
cool.
Ice Cream.
I like that.
Okay. Zocdoc!
What the
You know when you
fuck?
get cornered by that aunt at a family
What is
gathering,
wrong with
you
Bobby,
feel like
yo?
you have to bend the truth.
Yeah, the one that asked you, it's like, when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna move?
Yeah.
When are you gonna quit Bad Friends? I don't like it. It's not a good show. You know what? I'm not listening to you, Auntie, because I have ZocDoc, the place where you can find and book doctors and make you feel comfortable and actually listen to you, okay?
I mean, we do it with restaurants and other things, and why not do it with your life?
Yeah, why wouldn't we do it with our life? It doesn't make sense.
80%.
We're not talking about a few, Andrew. We're talking about tens of thousands of doctors, all with verified patient reviews, so you can make sure the vibes are vibing before you ever meet.
IRL, it means in real life. With ZocDoc, you got more options than you know, okay? Bob and I both use ZocDoc. I did when I moved to my new neighborhood. It was really tough because who knows where to turn. How do you get a new doctor other than ask someone that you know? And I had no one in my phone book that I wanted to call, to be honest with you. So ZocDoc took care of all that stuff. You don't have to settle. You go for the best and find the right doctor with you. With ZocDoc, you got more options than you know.
ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online.
All these docs have verified reviews from actual real patients. The typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between 24 to 72 hours. That's so fast. That's it. You can even score same-day appointments if you're lucky. How do they get it?
Oh, go to ZocDoc.com/badfriends and download the ZocDoc app free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/badfriends, ZocDoc.com/badfriends. DraftKings Sportsbook. Hey, man, we're close.
I know. Let me guess.
What?
You're crowning the NBA champ.
That's right, baby. You know who's in it?
Yeah, the Timberwolves.
Minnesota Timberwolves,
We
your
want them to
Timberwolves.
lose. We want them to lose.
We do because McCone is from Minnesota, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you've never used it, you are missing out. DraftKings is incredible. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500. How do they do that?
Just deposit at least $5 and you'll get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit.
And I'm telling you, I've been using DraftKings Sportsbook for quite a while now, and I am excited for the NBA playoffs heating up, and I want the Wolves to go down because of McCone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BADFRIENDS. That's code BADFRIENDS for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. You got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Blue Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. 1 no sweat bet per new customer issued as 1 bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/bball for eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Fucking is
Bill.
better than ice cream.
Ice cream's better than fucking.
Fucking
That would look like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, dude.
Look like fucking you almost had a stroke saying all
Look at
that.
some of that Santa Barbara jam.
31 flavors though? I mean, Baskin Robbins?
I'd take head over that.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Oberweiss's, that's a Midwest thing. Oberweiss dairy is so fucking good. My God. Those cows, they look like they're something happened. I mean, when you see those farm cows, dude, they're like 900 fucking pounds, and you're like, holy shit, this poor thing. They've just inflated it, dude. So it's just piss and milk. I saw a fucking TikTok the other day about a woman who.
what do they put in there, the cows?
Hormones. They juice these motherfuckers up.
So your mom got it done?
He's getting mad. He's getting mad.
Sit down.
So let me ask you something. So,
There's Bobby. There's Bobby amongst of other comics. That's a green room.
that was so good, dude.
Thank you.
I love you.
I'm
So-
telling you, if you don't get a fucking kiss from, or not a kiss, I'm sorry, I don't want this sounds aggressive. If this girl doesn't make it obvious tonight that it's not happening,
Well, no,
shame.
Nick told me to ask.
You got to be straight up.
So at the end of the thing, if I feel like I'm going to just talk to you for a second, I just feel friends on me. Would you agree? I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So get clarity.
Don't give her the ammunition. Just go. Don't say this feels. Just go. Hey, I just wanted clarity. Do you want to be more than friends?
That's too direct.
No, because if you give her the bait to go, this feels friend zoney, then she's gonna go, I guess maybe it is. You're telling her how you feel.
You might be right.
Ask her. Ask what she wants. Do you want to just be friends? Which is fine.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
I just need to know if you just want to be
I'll do it in
friends.
my own words.
Because we're gonna go to a different restaurant.
Right. Do it in your own.
Yeah.
Do it in your own words.
That's not true.
Do it in
Yeah.
do it in your words.
I'll do it in my
That'll be your own words. You gotta get the Spaniard on it.
Anyway,
Well, you shot at me fucking 3 times with my mom, so what? Don't get mad that I shoot back.
I'm not doing it.
Alright, anyways, good.
That makes sense.
I also, as fucking your best boy, I want you to win. You know I want you to win. But this kid's the real Casanova. Our entire life.
You know, here's my jealousy.
My entire
You're
friendship.
closer to him than you were.
No.
It's a
Oh
longer
my
journey.
god, dude,
I've known
it's
him for
still
so long.
verifying.
He's my oldest friend in Los
Well, we're
Angeles.
all about to be there forever.
Forever. BFF.
So can I ask now? Listen to ice cream. I start with Bob.
Yeah.
We go back.
Yeah, ice cream's better than salad, yeah.
And I remember there are people in my life that were in it for a brief period, and then they just disappeared, and I just never saw them.
Because they're dead?
No, I don't know if they are.
Hopefully.
But they were like so influential, you know what I mean, in my voyage or my journey to heal.
What's taking you away from reaching out to them?
I don't know how to even get a hold of them. I just wanted, so I don't even know last names.
So how influential could they have been? You don't even know their
Pretty
fucking
influential. So may I?
Give us an example.
I'm going to give you 2 examples if I may.
Please, man.
The first example is I remember I met a guy. His name was Randy. He was Jewish, okay,
I'm out.
and he looked like Stanley Tucci.
Ooh.
Like at the
I'm
time,
back in.
Yeah.
at the time,
Somehow.
at the time he was a little older than me, maybe by 10, 15 years. And I think that he had a weird, like he looked like that. He
Love
had
it.
a job. Maybe he was a lawyer or going to law school.
How did you meet him?
I met him at improv class.
I'm out again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I was out, I was in, I'm out.
So, I remember back in the day, I met him in improv class, and he remembered we were together, and he goes, "Man, I thought I was going to stand up. I'm going to stand up." And I go, "Okay." And he goes, "You should." And you know, we talked about it before. We should do it. You're like, "I'm too scared," right? So I remember we went to a place called Thomas Paine Coffee Shop, and this is what there was an open mic, and he said, "Come and support me. I'm going to go watch the first time."
Mm-hmm.
And so I went there, and then the host went up and he goes, "All right, this next comic is Bobby Lee."
He put
He
your
put my
name
name
Ah.
in the
Fucking
thing.
Randy.
Right, Randy? And I remember just going up. And I mean, I wouldn't say that was my first time doing stand-up because I didn't really say anything.
You were just fucking around.
I just went up there and was like, I didn't really sign up. You know, Randy did this, and I just got off. But it got me on stage.
Thank you.
Right.
Randy.
And then I started doing it a lot.
So we know who to blame.
Right. And then I never saw him again.
How old was this man? And he was a
He
lawyer?
must have been like 10 or 15 years old even at the time.
Did you say he
I
was an attorney?
Yeah, maybe.
And this was like just for fun.
Yeah, I was like 23, 30.
I don't get it.
So Randy, if you're out there listening, you might be in your 60s by now.
Yeah, yeah. It's just somebody that I just want to say thank you for.
That's
kind of a beautiful
really
story.
nice. Yeah, that's very pretty.
There's another guy.
I'm glad you kept in touch with that guy.
You know how just people just disappear? And also, can I just say my...
Well, no, you just kept going.
No, but just also, there was no such thing as cell phones then.
Right.
Oh, you could have sent a carrier pigeon to him.
I know. But my point is it's easier now. But
Way
like
easier.
back then, there was no cell phone. And
You're right. There's
things
people that I remember from the beginning that I don't know. That we used to hang out with
Yeah.
back in the day. I have no fucking idea where they are.
Mm.
We have no clue.
So the second guy was when I became a comic at the La Jolla Comic Store. I moved in with the manager and the assistant manager of the comic store, who both passed.
Jesus.
His name Frank. It was Ron.
First name's okay.
And then Fred Burns. And there was another guy living there who was like those two were like kind of prostitute. I mean, they gave me everything. This manager, this manager, but the comic that lived there, Frank Manzano, was a Mexican guy. He was just a weird performer. He was so kind to me and very like supportive. You know what I mean? I haven't seen him. I don't know where he is. Anyway, I mean, do you have anybody in your life like that or no?
That
You ever
disappeared?
Yeah, a lot.
I've had lots of people that have quit or moved or, I've spoken about friends on this show that guys that I started with who I thought were fucking so good and they quit for
Jonathan Godson.
I remember him. Wait,
Yeah,
I
you
know.
never know.
You said this name.
Yeah. And then also there's another one, Dave Pierre. Both very funny guys.
Great name.
He was so funny. And I don't know what happened. I think he's like teaching.
Well, I know there's a lot of guys that I kind of used to do bar shows with, and I know I've just kind of run into them in the aftermath, or like had a a friend of a friend. But a lot of them are out. A lot of them fucking grew up. They got pregnant, had kids, got jobs, and they were like, I can't play this fucking bullshit game.
Or they move out. They move out of LA.
Well, and a lot of guys
They
left
quit
LA.
the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a brutal business. I get it.
I don't even know if it's a dream. They just quit this fucking rat race. They quit this bullshit
What
game.
is it about us that we've hung in and suffered?
We're sick.
Immature, trauma, addiction. You name
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
I think that's what there's something about my.
we're sick.
It's not resilience. I mean, I guess that is a word that we could use, but it's like a normal person wouldn't suffer that long.
But then people with a little bit of intellect understand that suffering usually can yield something good if you really want it.
So lack of talent than anything else.
He's right.
You know, well,
You fucking dirty little bitch.
it's so funny. It's fun, and I'm grateful to meet you, people like you. It's fun. It's grateful, and I'm with that.
I had a date today, this morning in the shower. Can I share this? You may think I'm stupid. There used to be downtown Los Angeles, I believe in the old brewery building, right? Maybe the old Pabst building. Brewery. I know it's tough for you guys. Yeah, that's like library for black guys. There's something about. We'll be right back.
That's so
Well, it's not a
Well,
library.
what do they say?
Library. Every black friend I have says library. But listen, Pabst Brewery, the old building downtown, used to be an artist living quarters, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Right? And then what they did was they had the rent was subsidized so that artists could live there for a nominal fee, right? Yeah, the Brewery Arts Complex has been called the largest live and work artist colony in the world, 16-acre compound. Right, okay. So,
Dude,
hold on.
Let me bro.
What? Bro?
After you say this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you I've been there.
To the brewery? To the artist complex?
Yes.
You hooked up with someone there?
No.
Okay, hold on. We'll get to it.
Okay.
What I was gonna do, I was driving on the freeway and I saw the old brewery smokestack, and it made me think. I wish you, me, a couple of other named comedians could buy a building or buy a warehouse space and subsidize the rent for young up-and-coming comedians.
To live.
So we do a nonprofit where we wouldn't make a dime, but we would just it would make enough money so where it could sustain to have security, upkeep, and everything. We would make no money.
House rules.
You'd need some house.
I would be the house rules guy.
You would not live there.
No, I know, but I would have to have like on the wall things you cannot.
No, it would be run properly like a fucking.
Just house rules. I don't care what you're saying.
Well, what are the house rules?
Yeah, what are they?
No fucking other comics.
Ooh.
That's what I'm building this whole thing for. Is for them to all fuck each other. That's the whole point. This is
That's
like
the ulterior motive.
This is like the Olympic Village.
This is his Hitler Youth.
Yeah, 100%. I want to indoctrinate these people.
Okay,
No,
all right, move on.
I know what you're saying. No fucking other. Right.
I mean, I just would want a safe space for everyone. That's all. Go ahead.
Yeah, of course that. Okay. All I'm saying, I'm done. All I'm saying is, do you think this is a crazy idea?
It's a great idea.
I really want to do it. I want to buy a building.
We're never gonna do it.
Why not? Why
It's so
can't?
expensive?
Yeah, not with that.
It's not just you and I. It's a bunch of other comics. Imagine if we got like Burr, Sebastian, Dylan, guys who have a couple of bucks in their pocket who could buy a building and subsidize it for young comedians.
That'd be great. How many people? Now, number one.
Because you know I have the resources to start a nonprofit. I know how to do all this stuff. We can do it.
Let's fucking do it.
You'll do it?
I will do it.
I swear to God, I want to do it.
But this is a big one for me.
House rule?
No. It's
No.
even more. It's even bigger.
What?
I think we'd have to showcase together.
Oh, you can't be shit. You can't be shit
That's
to get a room. Interesting. That's interesting.
We can't have the crash.
So we have a little stage, and you have to showcase for the current residents to see if you get a room. Now, do you have to keep the showcasing as you
No,
live
they
there?
showcase for us.
So just you and I sitting in a chair?
No, we'll get a bunch of comics.
Oh, okay.
We do it once a year. You know what I mean?
It's like getting passed.
Yeah.
You get passed to live there.
You get past it.
But then every year, you have to re-audition. So we got to know that you're writing and working and you're not slipping. You have.
Yeah.
So tell me about the brewery. Now that we know that that's a thing I'm proposing
What
to.
are you calling this thing when you open?
Funny Bone.
Done.
Name it after another comedy
Don't need
club.
to workshop it more. We got it.
I think it should be called.
Haven.
We'll call it the Comedy Mothership.
I like that.
It's. We'll call it
The compound.
Comedy Compound.
Comedy compound.
Yeah, how about Chuckles Chambers?
Chuckle Chamber.
Chuckles Chambers.
Great.
I want to go live with
Chuckle
Chuckles
Chambers.
Chambers.
How many people can live there?
I think it's got to have like 10 apartments. 10. 10 at a time. We can't afford that big of a building with you and me and a bunch of other comics. We can try our best.
Well, then they would. The future has to live there.
I know you said they have to showcase.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. I mean,
I'm telling you, in the shower this morning, I thought this is a great idea. It's a way we don't earn a dime on this. We'll probably lose a little bit of money, but it'd be great.
also you can't. I know what's gonna happen. Other open micers are gonna stay there overnight on the couch or whatever.
No.
No
because-
crashing.
No, time out. We crashed. We crashed. It's a part of the culture.
How long can you crash?
1 week. Only 1 week crash. And you're not allowed to crash for a week, then go to another apartment. You get 1 week of crash in the comedy, in what did I call it?
A year or how
What
long?
was it called? The chuckle,
Chocolate
the chuckle what? I'm just trying to tighten it up. And what did I call it? The chuckle,
Chambers.
I don't even know.
Chambers.
Seconds ago. Okay, no, you get 1 week of crashing because crashing is a part of our culture.
Okay.
We crashed, I crashed, you crashed a lot.
All right.
You
And
get
then
1 week of crashing
There's
inside the
gotta be
building.
like a guy that lives in the manager, like the guy that
Guam. Guam is gonna get security. He'll beat the shit out of people if they
Yes.
don't obey.
Oh my god.
He will.
He lives there for free.
Imagine if that.
Oh, everyone does, right?
Huh?
Yeah, everyone lives for free.
No, you have to pay.
Here we
It's
go.
subsidized. You're paying a certain amount of money to keep the thing going. Yeah, cost at level. So like, listen, instead of paying what is an apartment now,
Like
fucking
25
thousands of dollars.
500 minimum.
Yeah, you pay like $800, $600, $800, but that just goes for your internet, your water and power, and general living, so we can.
Free Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi if you have 15 minutes. If you have under 15, you gotta pay.
I'd love to get behind it.
A comedy compound.
5 guys, 5 girls.
5 guys, 5 girls.
Or maybe 1 trans, 1 gay.
Smart.
See, now we're getting into equity, diversity, and inclusion.
And that's good.
Can't avoid it.
Well, then nobody needs to be the same.
You're right.
We can't do that.
We need a black guy and an Asian. You know what I mean? We can't do that. Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather have 2 black guys than 1 Asian for sure. It's just for trading.
Oh, really?
Well, if we're trading.
You don't want things to efficiently fucking.
Whoa! I'm talking about comedy-wise. There's almost none of you that are good. There's so many black comics that are good. How many funny Asians are there? 6?
Jason Cheney, Leslie Lau, Andrea Jin. I mean, I had the list goes.
That's 6. You just named the 6. That's it.
So many. Are Yeah, you're
How many funny black comics are there? 1,000.
They've been doing it longer.
That has nothing to do with it.
They have?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Dude, look, okay, you know who Flip Wilson is?
Of course we know who Flip Wilson.
But my point being is that comedy has been, in terms of the black community, a part of it since we started in the new modern version of stand-up in the
They're
50s
funny.
and 60s.
Yeah, because they're funnier than Asians.
No, it wasn't, dude, because we're
Are you
immigrant.
trying to say that Asians are funnier than black comics?
What I'm saying is
Whoa, that's a tough
I
claim.
didn't fucking say that.
You just said Bobby Lee. You heard it
Oh
here.
my
Said
God, I didn't
Asians
say-
are funnier
I
than
didn't
blacks.
say that.
That's what he
I
said.
didn't say that. What I'm just saying is that, you know what I mean? Since
He got him
black-
trapped.
Since Margaret, I think.
Chris Rock, Wanda Sykes, Dave Chappelle, Cedric, Kevin Hart, Whoopi Goldberg, Richard
They've been
Pryor, Bernie
doing
Mac,
it
Eddie
all
Murphy, Monique, Red Fox, Martin Lawrence, Chris Tucker, Tiffany Haddish, Cat Wood, Gil Hula, Jane Fox, Tracy Morgan.
Don't look up Asian comics. Because I'm afraid that I'm not going to be on the list.
You gotta be on that
No, I don't
list.
think I'm just going to list.
Yeah, right. Here we go.
Tough.
6.
Oh my God, there's 6.
I'm not even on it.
Oh, that says China. In China.
Jimmy O Yang is the first.
Jimmy O Yang.
China, that's China.
It just I looked up Asian comedian though. That's
There's
No, go-
6.
go- get
You gotta put
I don't
comedian.
know what else to look up. Asian
Put an S on it.
He's an American comedian.
There's 6.
There's 5.
There's 5.
You gotta put a plural. Put the S on the end.
By the way, they threw in Cal Penn too to make you guys.
Koreans over 50 comedians.
But it, oh, fuck.
The point is, hey, Google's proving my point. Leave it alone. Google's proving my point. An endless list of great black comics.
I
An
think you're
endless
Asian.
list.
I think you're Asian excellence.
You are Asian excellent. You're excellent.
Just say.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Truly though, tell me the story about the brewery. How did you end up there?
In the 90s, there was a fucking cattle call for a sitcom.
Do you remember what it was called?
No.
Cattle call.
But I remember going there and waiting in line for about 7 hours.
Just chilling
It
outside.
was like one line,
Gross.
right?
Sounds like last
And I
comment.
remember going in there and being thrown like on a chair, saying one thing. I forgot what it was. And they're like, go, go, go. And I remember walking out of that building going, oh, I'm never going to make it.
You thought that was how it all
Because that's
was.
how it all worked.
Yeah.
Like this just fucking 1 in a million, you know what I mean, waiting in line for that long. It's like the Laugh Factory line.
The
on
open mic
Tuesday.
line, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's around the corner.
People will wait there from 10 a.m.
I think it's open at noon or whatever.
or noon until the show.
Oh yeah.
And they might not get on.
Most don't.
Yeah, they're just getting their name into the fucking bucket. I mean, how fucking crazy is that?
That's awesome.
Did you ever do that?
Of course I did. What do you mean? I waited in every line. I waited at the
I
factory.
never waited at Laugh
I
Factory.
waited at the store.
You did.
The Improv didn't have a line. They didn't have that thing.
They didn't have that.
I waited at the factory multiple times.
Yeah, and when you're waiting in kind of a line that long, and you're like, and you don't even get on, you're like, oh, this is almost impossible.
Me and my buddy Kinner Shaw drove to fucking San Francisco for Last Comic Standing to sleep outside of Cobb's on the street.
Todd Jason?
God, do you know how far this is? I sold out 6 shows like 3 months in advance at Cobb's, and that's how far I've come. And thank you. That means a lot. That actually feels a lot in my heart. I slept on that street outside of Cobb's on fucking and I'm not kidding. We drove to San Francisco. I slept outside on the concrete in a fucking sleeping bag, only to almost not get to audition, go inside, tell a half a joke, and they were like, "No, thank you."
Oof. Oof.
Had to get right back in our car and drive down back from San Francisco.
I remember.
I slept outside the Improv for Last Comic Standing too. I slept outside of Fred Siegel on Melrose.
No.
Yeah, I slept on Melrose.
Oh my god.
And I remember there was a young girl. There was a comic out there. You know who she is, I think. Tracy McDonald. Do you know who that is? Tracy was in line with us, and Tracy, I'll never forget. There was a moment where Tracy said, Canadian comic.
Yeah.
Tracy said, "What if?" This was so creepy. It had to been 3 or 4 in the morning. She was in the camp next.
What
to
a
me.
nice girl.
Yeah, she's great. Tracy said, "Hey, what if one day, this is a 4 in the morning thought, what if one day we're not funny anymore?" Oof. And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "What if we just stop being funny or thinking of funny stuff?" I was like, "That's impossible." What do you mean? Like, it's in your soul. You like humor. She's like, "No, no, no. Because sometimes I feel like I might lose it and it'll never come back." And I was like, "Shut up." I went to lay down, and my brain was like, "What if? What if we can never write a funny joke ever again? What if I never think of anything funny again? What if I never say anything? What if I don't know what funny is anymore?" It spun me out for like
Yeah.
6 hours.
Yeah.
So thank you, Tracy McDonald. That
Thank
actually
you.
helped.
Thank you, Tracy.
No, but she was right though. She had this moment of clarity of like, man, what are we doing? We're sleeping on fucking Melrose?
Yeah.
Is this worth it? Do we want to do this? Hello, Fresh!
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep.
Skip those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
It's #1. Ditch the meal planning woes and dive into HelloFresh's biggest menu yet, with over 50 recipes and even more market items to choose from every single week.
Look, I've been using HelloFresh for a long time because I'm not good with understanding how to get the right ingredients and measurements and sizes. HelloFresh does that all for you. Okay, wake up your taste buds and get summer ready, baby, with balanced, fit, and wholesome recipes, chock full of fresh produce and under 650 calories per serving, so you can stay tight and skinny for bikini season.
Do you have children?
I don't.
I don't, neither do I, but if you do, HelloFresh's line of kid-friendly recipes are picky eater-proof and perfect for families looking to shake up the dinner recipe rotation with schools out for the summer.
Dude, they got these limited time recipes like the Old Bay shrimp and sausage, grilled steak, lettuce wraps, all sorts of really delicious stuff. You got to sign up today. You're going to unlock free appetizers for life. It's so worth it. And the pre-portioned ingredients help reduce food waste by up to 45% compared to grocery shopping. So save yourself, save the planet, and get HelloFresh.
Go to HelloFresh.com/badfriendsapps for free appetizers for life.
One appetizer item per box while subscription is active. That's free appetizers for life at HelloFresh.com/badfriendsapps. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. It was worth it. It was fun. I tried.
Here's, I think, the difference, right, is that, I honestly, I think that a lot of people can make it. You know what I mean? I don't care where you come from. You know, you don't even have to be like naturally funny. I just think that people can make it, but we can hit the ball when necessary.
When the time,
When the time is right. I just remember different moments in my life. It's like I remember thinking to myself, I have to hit this ball.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
I don't, because so and so's in the audience, and I have to fucking hit a home run here.
And you do.
And yeah, so I'm gonna tell you, I can't say his name, but I remember there was a TV show that did stand up, and I had already done it a couple times. So the third year they were like, "Can you do it again?" And I go, "You know what? I'll do it if you put my friend on it."
You gotta tell me the TV show, like a Craig Kilborn or something.
No, I can't tell you because I don't want my friend. My friend will cry if I say this name.
Okay. I need.
He's already crying.
We'll blank it out.
It was called Funny K Loco.
Okay, Loco. Yeah.
It was called K Loco.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, on Telemundo.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they go, well, who's your friend? I don't care. You know what I mean? You're not gonna watch him. You're just gonna do it.
You're like, you're giving me a spot, and he has
And
to get a spot.
one of my best friends gets a spot.
That's really nice.
Right, and he used to do well on stage, regular at the store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I remember we're at the taping now. It's so fucking crazy. And I'm sitting next to Joey Diaz.
Hey, Godsucker.
Yeah, right? And so my friend's going up, right? And so, and he's super nervous, which is understandable.
Sure, it's TV.
Right? So I'm in the green room watching the monitor. I'm like, finally, right? They bring him up, and he comes up, and he goes, nothing comes out.
No.
Yeah, and then he does this. This is where I was like, uh-oh. He looks on the ground, and he goes, and he starts mumbling.
No.
Yeah.
No, buddy.
He literally starts mumbling to himself.
Oh fuck.
This is TV. There's cameras on it, right? And then I remember he's like maybe a minute or two in, he starts getting the nerve to tell a joke. But at this point, he lost it.
It's gone.
It's gone.
They were
he
ready
starts
to.
really bombing,
Oh.
right? And I remember I had already gone out.
Oh, you already did great.
Yeah, I killed.
You're good.
Right? I killed, right? I left him there.
You piece of shit.
Okay, not only did I leave him there, but I was so embarrassed.
Would you get in the car and just go home?
Yeah, I go, fuck this guy.
No, you asshole.
I got in the car. So, here's the two things.
No wonder why people from your past have just
Yeah,
disappeared.
I was gonna say. This is one of these guys you never spoke to.
Yeah.
When you go to bat for somebody,
He had an off day.
right? His first TV. Okay, I'm gonna give him a compliment, but this is a proof. Okay, so I leave. So then Joey Diaz brought me home. But here's the sad part.
Joey Diaz on like 500,000 milligrams. Like, I'll drive your car. Flip this fucking car.
So you do they take 5 or 6 shows in one night, right?
Yep.
So at the end of each show, the booker gives you a check.
Mm-hmm.
He waited at the end. He never got a check. So not only did I do well, he got edited off the show, obviously.
Oh my
Guy drove it home, right?
Well, give him the money.
That's a
Steve.
triple crowd.
Right. But here's how he wins. When we got, I still was friends with him.
Bitcoin. He bought a bunch of Bitcoin. 92.
A year later, I was watching Comedy Central just randomly, and he had done Premium Blend,
Well, that was huge.
right? And he destroyed.
Oh, so he's fine.
He destroyed.
Is he still working today?
Yeah. He destroyed, but I just remember like him. Some people can't hit the ball the first time. Is my point.
But he got redemption, which is good. 'Cause
He
when-
did. He always had it. He had the looks. He had the skill. It's just when the very first TV spot you do as a stand-up is petrifying.
That's the scariest thing in the world.
It's probably one of the scariest things in the world. Like I remember when I did Leno, I'd never been more scared. But I just remember walking out and looking at the thing and going, you have to kill.
You have to.
You have to kill.
Because Jay's right there. Yeah, you got a little Chinese guy.
That's me on the left.
Is that your first time?
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember how nervous I was to do Conan. It was probably
I
the
was
most
there.
nervous I've ever been, man.
You were?
I was Chase just because I loved Conan so much, and it was a
Right.
big deal for me when they. And what's so funny is I submitted a year before, and the booker, who obviously not there, is gone now, who's become a friend, was like, I don't like the spot, I don't like the set, and I was like, fuck. And then called and was like, I saw you do a spot. Do that fuck. I was like, oh, really? Dude, fuck, do that. Don't the other one. Don't submit. Do this. Just take out the two custom parts that have swear.
Yeah.
That was it. But then when I got there, I was fucking so nervous.
It's a good set.
It's
That's
just
a
hard.
very
It's such a hard thing
I'll
to. I think
never forget that.
people just get
We were
so.
dying laughing on the way to that.
People get so fucking judgy about it, but you're like, you feel so. It's the stress of that is so weird because it's live.
Like I can see it kind of in your eyes. I know you.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
something in your eyes.
I was nervous.
Yeah.
So nervous.
You're fine. You can see all the stuff, but there's a focus in your eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I can tell.
And that sweater was awful. What a terrible fucking choice. By the way, when I remember buying that sweater, scrounging the money together to buy that sweater, and it was out of my price range. It was probably like $125 sweater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember it was like $100 sweater, and I was like, this is insane that I'm buying this fucking sweater. And I thought when I put it on, you look great. And less than a month later, I was like, you look fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is a stupid
Yeah.
fucking. It's so. No matter what you wear on TV,
What was I wearing on my Tonight
you
Show?
look like a fucking idiot. You always look dumb on these tapings.
Yeah.
You think they look. That actually looks kind of nice.
good.
Because
Black
black
and
is
pants.
safe. Black and green pants.
Classic.
How old were you there, Bobby?
I was probably
52.
2002.
2002.
22 years ago today.
26 ago.
Wow, just passed. 22 years ago.
Whoa.
He was 30. You were 30 years old.
Yeah. What people don't realize.
You were 30, right? That's a 30-year-old man. That looks like a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
That looks like a high school.
Move over, Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a new
Yeah, yeah.
62-year-old in town.
I mean,
It's good.
you age like a mushroom, but back then,
What people don't realize too is they're so word for word. Like they come out
yeah.
so many times to see you, and they give you so many no's.
Oh my God.
Right. So everything is like you have to say it.
Did you have cue cards?
Yeah.
So they offer you if you may slip up, they may have cue cards, and I said no, I don't want them because that will fuck me up worse. I'll look at a word and be like, and he got it. Sting. I know exactly what I would do. I would see a word and go, fucking, that's it. That would kill me. That would fucking ruin. I was like, please no cue cards. Same thing with specials. Comedy Central half hour. Most people use bullet points. I was like, please God, don't do that.
You're memorized.
But some people get nervous, like your boy who just gets paused out.
Oh my God! I just even thinking about that.
His face.
This is great.
That was fun. That half hour was fun. I told a story about this. Sorry, I cried the moment I got off stage. I asked my
You cried.
I asked my.
You were there.
No, I just.
No, I asked my. Well, he's in it though. I talk
Yeah,
about him in the special. My childhood best friend Sean Costello was there, and he was backstage, and he was in the green room with a few people, and I walked into the green room after I got off stage, and I said, "Hey man, can you give me 2 seconds?" And he was like, "Yeah." And everyone's like, "Yeah." I was so excited. Can you give me like 2 minutes? And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm still overwhelmed." And the moment he left the green room, I was like,
Yeah.
I was fucking bawling. just because it was all this energy and nerves and anxiety, and it was Comedy Central. It was a half hour. It was like so important, and I was like, I ate shit. It was bad. I was
Oh,
bawling.
you think it was good?
Oh, I thought I tanked. I was spinning.
Oh, I thought you were like,
Spinning.
I killed it. I
No.
Oh, fuck.
No, I was spinning. I was so sad. I chugged a bottle of fucking whiskey. I just sat in a chair, just bawling.
Oh,
I'm like, they're never gonna air it. They won't even air it. That's what I kept saying.
Yeah.
No, but it was a good. It turned out great. I liked it a lot. I just
because
the pressure was so.
But it's also not. It's not club laughs.
No, it's different out there.
It's a different set of laughs. So you think you're bombing.
Oh yeah.
Because you're not at the Ice House main room.
Correct. And also, people don't know these are tapings. I had zero fame, acknowledgement, whatever. This was like me, Norman, Soder. We were all like kind of the same within the year of each other's tapings. Nobody knew who the fuck we were. These are paid audience members.
Yeah.
These people have sat through 6 other comedians.
Yeah.
You're the fucking 5th on the list of the night of 3 hours of stand. They're tired.
Dude, imagine.
They don't want to look at your dumb ass.
Imagine being a road comic actor. Right?
Yeah.
And you have no name. You're just doing the round. So you're one of those acts, right? That people go, hey, honey, what do you want to do tonight? Oh, let's just go to the club, see who's there.
We were those guys. I was that
I
guy.
know, but how much easier is it now?
That we have fans?
That's not that. It's
God
just
bless
that,
the fucking fans.
It's just that it takes that component out of it of like.
I'm gonna kill myself in this motel set. Yeah. Yeah, if I'm gonna bash my head through
component.
the Pepsi machine outside my window going whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
That some guy gets a soda at 4 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
I remember that outside of my bedroom window. The hum of a vending machine. Yin, 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 yin.
Oh.
And then a guy just 2:30 in the fucking morning. Hey, you hear that in the fucking hotel? Dude, motels, the amount of motels I've stayed in.
Okay.
Like the scene in Big when he's clutching the pillow and there's bullets outside raining through New York.
Yeah. So I had to do a call. You know, I did.
I got bed bugs one time, by the way, from a motel. Go ahead, I'll tell you the story.
I did those college, those college gigs. You know what I mean? And so back in the day when you're a nobody, right? They go, well, you're gonna go to Muncie, but then you have a day off here, and then you have to take a bus, like you're Greyhound.
Gotta catch a Greyhound.
To this place, right?
$3.
But in between, we know this old family in this town who they like to bring in comics.
You can stay at their house.
Stay at their house.
Right.
This
It's a nightmare.
80-year-old
Dude.
white people, all right? And lights out at 10, sir. Right? There was no internet then.
It's Get Out. This was the original Get Out.
Cold as fuck.
That's
No,
terrifying.
And I have like a blanket, like one of those woolly, like they smells like mothballs.
Yeah.
Right? And the pillow is like made out of hay.
It's a hay pillow.
It's a hay pillow. Right? And it's like, and on the slab, the mattress is that thing that when William Wallace dies in the end of Braveheart, that concrete.
Yeah,
When they
it's a
chopped
slab.
out-
It's a
yeah,
slab.
They chopped his nuts off.
Right.
Yeah.
The bed that Lincoln died in was more comfortable than.
So I remember just laying there cold. It's 10:30.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep. You know what I mean?
No.
Belly
You're
full of
sleeping
their
all night,
leftovers.
right?
Yeah.
And at 6 in the morning, you get a knock. It's like, coffee's ready.
Come on down for breakfast.
It's a nightmare.
That's when you start spinning the chamber of the gun.
Yeah.
And I did that for years.
Hated it. So God bless the fans. Thank you so much. My God.
Thank you so much.
More than anything.
But then also, it's like, don't go. Why is that guy getting this?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Oh, because I've been to hell and back.
Yeah.
Dog.
And again. And again.
And again,
And again.
and again.
And again. And you know what you still have to deal with? Little rats like this guy. Little fucking rat brats.
You think
Rats.
you get away from that.
Will you let them in?
But the rats are always there.
They find a way. Don't the rats? They
Yeah,
find a way.
I just a little reprieve from hostility.
All right, let's chat about Spoon. Let go up. This is a history lesson. Look at this. In 1942, Chinese. Okay, here's why I'm pitching this to you. I read this article, and you want to do a movie, and you want to star in a film. You and I are going to make a movie together that Nikki and I wrote.
Yep.
But I said Bobby needs his own solo project, his own vehicle. In 1942, Chinese sailor Poon Lim, what a name, was aboard the SS Ben Lomond when it was torpedoed by a German U-172, causing the vessel to sink. Lim found himself, they should just say Poon. Poon found himself alone on a life raft without any means of propulsion, drifting aimlessly at sea. He sustained himself by fishing, drinking bird blood, and even managed to kill a shark using only a jug of water.
Whoa.
Look at the last line. Miraculously, Poon survived for 133 days at sea before being rescued. Look at Poon's little boat that he made.
Dude, look at that boat.
Wow. Life of Poon.
The life of Poon.
Dude, What an intricate bow.
Now, what does this say about Poon in general?
Asians are survivors.
What does this say about Poon in general? Poon is the best.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
You're not getting better than Poon, are you? Poon is what drives this world.
Dude.
Poon, Poon,
Yeah.
top shit.
I get what you're saying.
I love Poon.
Who's the top?
Is there anything better than Poon?
Poon for Prez.
Poon for Prez. This guy's the fucking man. He killed a shark with a jug of water.
Yeah.
I want you to play this movie, and Nikki's gonna write Poon, the story of Poon.
Can I see the
I'll
problem?
order the Ozempic.
And you know what the movie's called?
Oh, wait, stop.
Yeah.
What did you just say?
Stop.
What did he just say?
I might walk off.
Did he say I'll order the Ozempic?
If we want him to play
It's
Boom,
stop.
Jiminy Christmas, heaven to Betsy's. That's
Jesus
great.
Christ.
That is funny shit.
it's not a fat
that
Boom,
one.
it's a tight Boom.
Whoa, this is a typhoon. This is a typhoon. That's
He's
like
not,
Mark's
he's not on fire.
Hey,
Not on
typhoon.
fire.
Hey, you got a typhoon? And the movie is called Let's Get Some Poon. Let's Get Poon. Let's Get Poon.
Drowning in Boom.
Well, what is it? You know, like Get Shorty, Get Poon.
Drowning in Poon is so good.
Drowning with Poon. No, because he doesn't drown. He survives.
I like some.
Yeah, it's not good, but no.
Get the. Let's get Poon.
I won't do an Asian accent.
Please. You have to.
Yeah.
He's Chinese. It's 1942. What do you think?
I'm gonna write it in an Asian
I
accent.
can't. Give me a line then.
You know that on Final Draft you can actually write with an accent. Yeah. Open on. I'll tell you. Open on.
Interior.
X.
Yeah.
What's the line?
universe.
Give me some line.
Well, he's talking to nobody but himself. This has to be like a Tom Hanks Castaway. It's all you. It's an internal dialogue.
I smell Oscar.
This is great. On the boat, you talk like a Chinese guy, but out sea, you sound like Bobby Lee.
That's great.
Because you've been putting it on the whole time for these fucking people on the boat.
How about this?
I'm just going to America. But then out there, you're like, how do I get fucking
Yeah. Oh, thank God I'm
How about
finally alone.
my internal thoughts are in my blood.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you
Shit, right? But yeah, out loud.
That's what I just said.
Oh, I better.
What I just pissed you.
All right, so.
133 days.
hero of the show.
How do you kill the shark? With the jug.
Well, so I'm in the bad problem, okay? Well, let's fuck out to do that.
yeah.
Yeah. Do it live.
And I water, even though the water around me was salt.
This is Mark writing
Boon.
himself.
Right?
This is good Boon.
Right? But I have no job. What do I do with this? Just jam it in my butthole?
No.
Oh.
For pleasure?
Poon.
Oh, no.
There's an opening here, right?
No, Poon, Poon, no, Poon.
No,
No, Poon.
Or
Okay. How the fuck this guy kill a shark?
With a jug of.
A jug.
Oh, it's easy. What you do is this.
Oh,
you
it's a
nick
poop.
yourself. This is what I would do. Nick myself a little.
Bleed
Into the water, right? And as soon as that head comes out, bonk.
with a jug of water.
Yeah.
And kill a shark.
How the fuck did he do it then?
I don't know. Poon is magical. We know that.
Yeah.
How big of a shark? Maybe it's a little like baby type. Not like a
How do you get bird blood?
Was I guarantee you, birds who are flying over the ocean oftentimes settle on boats in motion. They would probably settle on this little raft, and he would cover them up and grab them and break them and eat them.
Yeah, but is that a good substitute for water for bird blood?
I mean, it sounds like Poon did it.
Yeah.
He sustained himself by drinking bird
You would think
Bloody
maybe. What?
Bloody Poon. That's the name of the film. But this is what's strange. 133 days without water. I thought you can only go a certain amount of days without water. But he must be getting enough water from the
No,
bird blood.
Yeah, the bird blood I think is the key.
Or he had just a little bit of a jug of water and took a sip every like fucking day.
Can you drink blood instead of water?
Can you drink
I feel
blood?
like we know the answer to that.
Yeah, we're in Hollywood.
Yeah.
How do
I'm
you
not
think
talking about baby blood.
blood and a necessity for human life is ironically poisonous to drink?
Ironically?
No, it seems right on the money.
Why does it say ironically?
Do bird blood. Oh, what does that say? So medical experts warn you get very sick from drinking it every day and fight a number of infections. Bird. One reason blood is dangerous. Yeah, bird blood. Bird blood. I want to know about bird blood. Yeah, if you're starving or
wow.
dehydrated, holy shit.
What would this say?
People have drunk turtle blood in order to survive, or the blood of a snake. There's risk of pathogen. Animal blood is not going to prolong your life. Extremely high in iron. They poison you at some point. Well, Poon lasted 133 days.
Wow.
Amazing.
But how did he know that?
No, I don't think. I think this was just him
Trial and
guessing.
error.
He was trial and error.
Oh, right.
100%. Poon Lim, there he is. Zoom in. Does it say anything else? He holds the Guinness Book of World Records for longest time adrift at sea alone.
That's
He
incredible.
used a water jug as a club to subdue the crashing shark.
No, he hit it hard. He was a 25-year-old seaman from the south coast of Punan seaman.
Yeah.
Perfect. South coast of China when he hopped on a British merchant ship. Cape Town, South Africa, they left, and German U-boat sunk that motherfucker.
Yeah, wow.
You know how crazy this is? This is the only guy that lived. And he died in Brooklyn. Go down. Zoom in. Poon passed away. Yeah, we did lose
Step
Poon.
foot in Brooklyn.
We all
Stop
lose.
there.
We lost Poon at some point. Poon passed away in Brooklyn in 91 at the age of 72. Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty young for a guy that fucking lived out at sea for 133 years. I bet he partied like an animal when he got home.
Him?
Yeah, there's Poon right there. That's perfect. That's you.
Kind of looks like him.
That's what I'm saying.
Amazing.
That's Poon, my dog. That's you. You're Poon. By the way, the fact that he could fashion a boat. Yeah, that's you. Oh,
Wow.
Poon Lim. Poon Lim.
Wow.
Poon lives.
So will you let us write this story?
Yeah,
for you?
that love.
Because I think you could play. I mean, like, think of how much comedy you could put in this, in contained comedy.
Can there be another phone?
We have to insert something else.
Yeah.
Because even Castaway packages were getting
Margot
dropped.
Robbie.
No.
I'm just pitching.
Yeah, we can.
Let's just think about it.
Let me think about
She's
who.
German.
Whoopi
She was
Goldberg.
thrown out.
Whoopi Goldberg is in the other boat. Whoopi Goldberg is German.
Can we compromise?
No.
It's got to be Whoopi.
It's
Not
Whoopi
on
or
this.
nobody.
Not on this.
Well, there's Poon
Did
Lim.
Poon compromise?
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah, Poon. Poon does not count.
Yeah. But how did
What?
who saved him?
A boat finally came along, I'm sure. You know, after a boat is attacked, he was nearing land as the color of the city.
It depends on who, though. It's
Dude,
like
this
if it's
drifting
German,
race
April
is
fifth.
crazy.
Fuck. Yeah.
April 5th, 3 Brazilian fishermen found him 9 miles off the
Brazil.
coast of.
I love Brazil.
They're so nice.
They're the nice.
They're so nice.
They're so nice people.
Oh, he loses weight during the. It could be like a transformation thing, like at the beginning,
Oh
Won't
my
let it
God.
go.
like you do now,
Won't let it
and then
go.
by the end, it could like help like visually show the audience your transformation.
From a directorial standpoint, it does make sense. He lost 20 pounds.
Not that much.
Well, that's what Tom Hanks did, right? He waited a year or something. He shot one part and passed away.
You're talking about Philadelphia. Different movie.
Yeah.
Same theme.
Same idea.
Boone and age just don't match.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. We don't want to insert that in this movie.
Yeah. Enough of your jokes, man.
Killing it.
I'm literally tired of them. That's the last one. You're a little sly. I don't like it.
So it took him 2 weeks in a Brazilian hospital. So maybe we rescue you halfway through the film.
Maybe the nurses have bubble butts.
Well, they're in Brazil.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, good.
By the way, maybe the movie is this. At a ceremony at the Seamen's Church Institute of New York, New Jersey, his citations say that Poon Lim displayed exceptional courage
What
and
if they
fortitude.
nursed him back to help him hang?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, yeah.
That's the only way to get Poon back in it. With a bunch of.
How long were you thinking about that joke? Was it 2 minutes?
I wrote it before I came here.
I sent him this article already.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was really
I
good.
said, step up, dude.
That's really good.
And honestly,
Yeah.
what no one had ever survived that long at sea, not even close, and no one will ever break the record, obviously. But think about that. Oh, the writer stated in Lim's ordeal was using the novel My Star's Destination. Yeah, but that's still, we still could never.
Intellectual property.
3 Mexican sailors floated for 10 months from 05 to 06 to the Pacific Ocean on a disabled fishing boat. Mexicans are the most resilient people on earth.
Amazing.
You know what happened with Spanish people? You guys would have sunk. You would have fucked each other and sunk.
You would have conquistadored.
Yeah, you'd have conquistadored each other.
We just gave them some mirrors and they gave us the country.
Oh my god, this guy is unfucking
These guys.
so fucking
So
ill.
arrogant. I hate it.
A fisherman from El Salvador was apparently lost for 439 days floating from Mexico to the Marshall Islands. On a raft. That's the craziest shit when they just get on a raft and hope it goes the right way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine
I
that
can.
Jose Salvador Alvarena, a fisherman who found, right, this is the guy that went to the Marshall Islands. He survived on a diet of raw fish, turtle, small birds, sharks, and rainwater. This makes sense.
Yeah, that I get.
Well, people with the constellations, like back in natives back then, would, you know, could look at the sky to see where they are.
I mean, we still do that kind of today.
You do?
Well, we
I don't.
We use,
Yeah, I don't use.
No.
we use star mapping. We still do star mapping.
Yeah, but you don't as a person.
How do you think I get around?
Oh, really?
You think I use Google fucking Maps? I don't trust that
Little
shit.
Tokyo. You look up, or you look at
I'm looking up the whole time. The cop's like, were you on your phone? I was like, look, that's scaring me. Staring up the whole fucking time. That's why they have moon roofs. Left on the brick.
Thank you for being a bad friend.
Thank you.
So good.
Listen, our regular co-host has some digestive issues. He's
What?
getting some of the best treatment available, and we hope the surgery goes well. We hope all the treatments go well, and we hope he recovers. Sitting in his place is somebody marginally smarter. Bert was saying the best. Sitting in today is John Stewart.
What's up?
What's up, man?
No Bert, is he okay?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's not in any way giving me confidence that he's
Well, I know he got his nerve stuff is taken care of, and some of his heart stuff. This is new. This is digestive stuff, and his liver is working fully well again. So that's great.
Is he the Frankenstein monster? What have they put together here?
He's got all kinds of stuff.
So today is one bear, no cave.
One bear, no cave.
One Jew. One Jew, no cave.
One bear, one Jew.
Yes.
Speaking of Israel, Palestine, solve it for us.
I'm so glad you asked me that, Tom.
I knew you would.
And with a plan. Have you ever? Do you talk? You don't talk. I've never seen you talk about
She's
shit.
taking the lead.
Politics or like
Just in general. You tell the best stories.
if I can like find a way in, like I remember I was touring in like during the election cycle
Right.
of the last, like, something will find its way into the news where you go like, oh, there's an angle for me on this.
Right.
I can move in on that, but I don't go like, here's my position on this, because I
Right.
always feel like people ask me. Actually, I get asked sometimes. People go like, "What's your dream job?"
Yeah, yeah.
Or like when Daily Show has we're gonna hire a new host. People go, "Would you love that job?" And I go, "No." And they're like, "Why?" And I go,
Wise choice.
but I don't even. I say it because I go. There's just things after you've done this a while. You go. There are people you realize there's people good for that job. You're like, I can name 10 people
Oh, good.
who can do that well.
Give me
And
a
I'm like,
list.
if you get,
I don't know how much longer I can bang out this one night a week.
Dude.
Kill him.
I mean, are you having fun?
Oh yeah. No, it's fun.
What was it like to be back in the seat
Weird.
the first time though? Like
Super weird.
super weird.
Yeah, because it was. Imagine it was like a flash forward. Have you ever seen those memes where, like, a group of friends will take a picture and then they'll like get together again 30 years later?
Yes.
And take the exact same. picture?
Yes.
So I've been gone for like 9 years.
Yeah.
And, like the whole day, a lot of the people that I worked with are still there.
Still there.
So it really was old home week. Like, really, like, I love those guys, and we have a great time together. We're having total fun, banging out the script up, getting real
Damn,
excited.
she's gonna finish.
Fucking put the suit on, put the makeup on, sat down in the desk thing. Camera comes up, look in the monitor, and I was just like, oh, that's that picture.
That's
it's the exact picture.
Yeah.
But 10 years later, which is jarring
Sure.
because I don't know if you know the process of erosion,
10 seconds left.
but it has.
Oh, do I have to
it has
keep
changed
racing this
my
way? I
vision.
don't want to keep racing this way.
So that part was jarring. It really did feel a little bit like that Albert Brooks, defending your life. So you sit down and go, "Am I alive?"
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you had a great joke about that when we did those gigs about. Well, yeah, I'm older.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, somebody said to me once, I was doing an interview. I think it was about the Apple show, and they said in the interview, "Has time passed you by?" And I go, "Yeah. I think that's time's job. Isn't
All
it?
the time,
Isn't
yeah.
that like it? It doesn't. Isn't that what it does? It passes us by.
Yeah.
These younger people with tauter skin, they rise up.
We just encouraged somebody in our staff who just turned 28. We were like, take nudes this year. Like, you don't understand. You're not going to regret it. And if you don't want to go full penthouse pet,
28 might be too late.
I mean, it's like, at least take something, right? Like 25, 24.
Dude, I shower with my clothes on. It's like it's gotten that bad.
Yeah, we're dying.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
Decompensating.
But you're not, like, I hit that point where, like, I still have a couple of milestones. Like, I think 65 is a milestone. I
For
think
sure.
in terms of
Yeah.
Social Security, maybe 68. But like, I'm in my 60s. Like, I can no longer even
You're
pretend.
holding up well, then.
Oh well, I'm an absolute physical specimen.
I mean,
don't-
but you look good.
That's very
you
kind.
seem like, I remember also, like, genetics play a role, obviously.
Not mine.
taking care
I
of
got some
themselves.
pictures of the family I'd like to show
Oh,
you.
I'll show you mine.
Yeah.
They're like, I remember I was like,
But you're in the best shape you've been in your life.
that's true. That's the one advantage of getting really, really fat when you're young. Is that you can really do a big self-correct thing. You can get really gross when you're young.
Right.
And then I
That's
see
when to
friends-
do it.
That's when to do it. I see friends from high school. I'm like, oh, now you're fat. You were.
Oh, how the tables have turned, my
yeah,
friend.
You were like this skinny little guy. Now you really have let
Right.
yourself go. It's kind of.
No, I could tell once you started giving out specs on gym equipment, I was like, oh, Tom's not fucking around.
No, man.
I was like, yeah, I'm on the phone, and this guy brought me the XG90s. I tried it out for a couple days, but the plates, they weren't the right plates.
I think this is the only way I'm going to get through the next 15 years.
Right.
Oh, I'm
Being-
dead.
How old are you now? What's
I just turned 45.
Oh, Tom,
It's good. It's a good decade.
so good. 45 is you're at the peak of your proud. You've got 10 years
Yeah.
of pure brain function and physical specimen.
Tell me.
Do you want to? I could ask you right now to go outside and shovel snow, and you could handle it no problem.
I think so.
You would bang it out, come back in the house, toast yourself up by the fire, have
Yeah.
sex with
Yeah.
your wife, and then still like you're at the peak. 45.
45's good, right?
And 45, like people forget. I don't know if you remember the movie like Cocoon.
Yeah.
I think Wilford Brimley was 45 in that movie. Like,
seriously?
yeah, the ages of people
It's completely changed.
completely changed.
You've seen that ad, right? From the, it's an old ad from the 60s of like, it has 8 or 9 women. And it's like, these women are all 40. I think, no, 47.
Right.
I mean, some
Like the Golden Girls.
of them look 75.
Wow. Yeah, it's a totally different world.
It's a different world. They actually, there's a few that you go, okay, she looks 47 by today's standards.
Yeah.
Because everything is evolved with lifestyle and care. Some of them look so much older. You can't believe it. And it's like, they're not making a joke. They're just
It's
like,
almost like cigarette smoke is a carcinogen.
yeah.
Like they were ensconced in, I can remember like in the 60s and 70s, like there was nowhere you could go that didn't just smell of smoke, like including doctor's offices. Like
Everywhere.
You would go in for a checkup with the pediatrician. He'd be like, "How you feeling today, Johnny?
Yeah.
Things are good. Your testicles drop. Everything, you know."
And he'd be smoking. I mean, I remember when I would visit, my mom's from Peru, we would go, the flight, it was like
Yeah.
row 20 back was smoking. The row.
Well, it's not going to get up to 19.
Yeah, I mean,
how could it get up there? You're moving this direction.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, so much. And I was on those flights. I was like, oh, yeah, this is. And you think it was normal.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh,
Did you ever get on those planes like in the 2000s that still had the ashtray in the arm, like the
Yeah.
armrest would go down and
Sure.
you pop it open?
Pop it open, yeah.
That ashtray would be there and you'd be like,
This is, yeah. And you know, they still make that announcement. No smoking.
Yeah.
Or, now they go, no.
that's only for Dixon, James Dixon. That's only to keep him. I think they use his name now in the announcement
They do. He,
on every flight. If James Dixon is on this flight, please do not smoke during
maybe
the
no.
flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is so cool. I was just in Italy,
Right.
and I was.
Were you playing?
No, I was just hanging for a few. I know. Nice.
Tom Segura having a nice. Is that? Have you taken vacations like that or breaks like that?
No, it was in the. I mean, it was in the middle of all this. I took just the wife, left the kids with food on the ground at the house.
God, that's so nice.
But it was real
As
quick.
long as there's running water in the house, like
They're
a toilet.
fine. They're fine. They can talk. You know, they can figure stuff out.
Right.
But that was
The air conditioning's on, probably.
probably We would leave it. You know, not too cool. I don't want to waste energy. But
Is that the first vacation, like for you and the wife, to get away for a little bit?
we did.
Because she's on the road too. Like
Oh.
that's got to be hard to.
Yeah, it's very tough. It's
Yeah.
very tough, and we've signed up for a lot. But this is a really busy month, and then taking a good amount of time down over summer.
Oh, good. Is that when you're gonna be doing the writing for?
So the writing starts in like a week or so,
Mhm.
and then we have a break. So we have
And Netflix now with the new WGA contract, I think they give you at least 3 days to write. How many episodes?
6.
So yeah, they give you 3 days. You get,
Oh, cool.
You get a half a day now
Yeah.
for each episode.
Well, AI's doing a lot of the output, so
Heavy lifting.
heavy lifting, bro.
Where in Italy?
We were in Rome, but we're going back to northern Italy
Oh, okay.
for some of the summer, and then we'll spend some in the summer in LA too.
And will you, this time when you go back to Italy, will you bring?
We'll bring the boys.
How old are they?
5 and 8.
That's so good. 5 and 8 is perfect, man, because they will actually remember this. Like
Yeah.
this is something that they will clock,
Yeah.
and the magic of that is going to be. And 5 and 8 are such good.
It's fun, It's fun. They're
Yeah.
really fun dudes. My 5-year-old's so reactive.
Yeah.
So like, he hits the table, the fucking table. And we're like,
Whoa.
Jesus.
He goes fucking table.
Yeah, he does. And whenever I'm like, hey, she's like, where do you think he gets that from? I'm like,
Disney. Those are Disney
she's like,
shows. No.
I'm like, no. She's like, you have explosive reactions to things, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But
Oh no.
yeah,
Jeez.
the other day he goes like that, and I was like, what? He goes, you're a shithead. I go, what? He goes, my brother's a moron, mom's a shitbag, and I'm an asshole. And I go, what? And then he started to repeat it. He goes, shithead, moron, shitbag, asshole. And I go, bro, he was just like he just stumbled on a discovery. And I was like,
What I like about that is it did seem like an epiphany.
yeah.
Like prior to that, he might have thought, Dad's a scholar. My brother is a compassionate and interesting playmate, and Mom is a saint.
But no,
Wait. No, wait. Hold on. I've got something here. Shithead.
Shithead.
Moron.
And he really reacts to like.
That's a mantra, though. Is that now? Is he keeping on that? Is that
He didn't get it wrong once after he said it for the rest of the night, and I was like, dude, you gotta stop talking like this.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When I look
That's
at my
great.
year, I look at
See,
what I've done,
Tom's a good
what I'm
dad.
slacking on.
I think, bro, you can't
I write that down.
keep this
talk
up.
about in therapy
It was
and
funny the
kinda help
first
guide me in the right
20
direction.
times.
I do a thing called a happiness journal.
Now,
and I quantify the things that make me happy. And
it's
and
still
I'll be
funny,
honest,
but you gotta stop.
Moderation makes me very happy. When I'm eating right, and I'm working out, and I'm not drinking too much.
Off-roading.
Listen,
Oh.
when life goes so fast, it's important to take a moment to celebrate
Beep,
your wins
beep,
and make adjustments
beep,
for the rest of the
beep,
year. Therapy can help you take stock of your progress and set achievable goals for the next 6 months. We all want to make those achievable goals. I have my achievable goals right now. I want to get below 220, and I'm doing that talking through it with therapy with my therapist. And listen, if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Take a moment. Visit betterhelp.com/bears today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bears.
Buongiorno, the best way to learn a language, immersion, living with a language is spoken and using it every day. If that's not in the cards this year, you can still learn a language the second best way, and that's with Babbel. Be a better you in 2024 with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel's tips and tools are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered conversation-based teaching so you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. One of my favorite aspects of using Babbel is that they make you spell. So that is a really important thing. You think you've grasped a word, but when you're forced to spell it out, you really dial in and remember how that word is spelled and that you retain it better. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/bears. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/bears, spelled BABBEL.com/bears. Rules and restrictions may apply. But you hate, he's the one who, like, the 8-year-old, because you have kids, you're like, one of them will be like so, like, he's so polite, like, he's really actually listens. If I go, that's enough, you got to get better. He really is like, okay, yeah, and he gets him. And the 5-year-old, he just resists so hard. And I was like, telling him, I was like, get in bed, and it was just repeat. And I was like, you know what? Tomorrow, you're not gonna have any treats. You're not gonna be able to watch any. And he goes, you fuck. I go, and I start to, like, he goes, and then I've never heard this combination of words. He goes, "You nervous bitch." And I had to grab my mouth, you know. I was like, I've never heard anybody call somebody a nervous bitch, but it made me laugh, and I just was like, "Get in bed now," and I couldn't.
How do you? And you can't
I
punish.
know.
It's too funny.
And I hear him in his bed.
When are you going to be called into school for that meeting with the teacher where she says to you, "Your son called me a nervous bitch," and where did he get that? And you have to go, I don't know. I'm just a shithead. Ask him. He'll tell you.
And she is a fucking shitbag.
She's a fucking shitbag. And I know you're not going to ask my brother, the moron.
He's just a little asshole.
Exactly.
What's amazing to me is I've gone in, I was like, how's his language? With like, how's cursing? And they're like, excuse me? They're like, he's the most well-behaved. Which is actually a good sign because it tells you that your kid knows that in a certain setting, they have to behave a certain way. So he feels comfortable enough to call me a fuck at home, but he knows that in school or in public, he's like, you don't address other people. So that's nice.
I'm sure knowing that makes you less of a nervous bitch.
Yeah, it does.
More confident.
A more relaxed bitch, for sure. Yeah.
They really do. I always found with the kids, some of it is anxiety when they're not with you.
Yeah.
They trust you completely.
Yes.
Like you'll protect them. You're the guy. But if not, they know like that person is generally the size of my father, maybe a little smaller, maybe a little bigger, whatever. If I ingratiate myself to that person, I'm safe in this environment of hooligans because I'm sure he's in with hooligans.
For sure. Yes. And it's a whole different.
When did he kick in with the profanity? At what age?
4.
Really?
Yeah, and the funny thing was, you know, as you know more than I do, these things evolve. You think your kid is this.
Yes.
Like, oh, I remember like when he had two, you're expecting terrible twos because when we were like, this kid's just like a little angel.
He's a dream.
He was just like, hi. Just a sweet kid. And then when he was turning like from 3 to 4, he just got all fired up. Like, really fired up about stuff. And like, we were like, oh, this guy is not, and he started to get a little more dramatic, he's more performative with his feelings, you know?
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, okay. So it's always evolving.
Trying shit out. He's trying shit out. I wonder too if it's, you know, some of it can be if the older brother is kind of like his path to praise is this, and maybe your guy thinks like, I don't think I'm not gonna be able, like my brother was really smart, like was just known in school, like used words. I can remember being in like, I think we were in a student council meeting and like I was in 4th grade, he was in like 6th grade, and he was like hypothetically, and the whole class was like, what the fuck just happened?
What? Yeah.
So I knew like that wasn't gonna be, and I wonder if he's thinking
maybe
that lane is taken, but you know it's not. Profane cowboy.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go out hard riding.
That's my lane because he knows it gets kids are all about reactions. Yeah, and he knows.
Those are comics.
He believes too that his older brother has special powers because he's convinced him. So he'll be like, he's like, if you don't give me this back, Ellis will use powers on you. And you're like, and you see that he's sincere. You know, I'm like,
they believe in magic.
They believe.
Although the 8-year-old's on that cusp.
I know.
Do you do like when you're doing holidays and shit? Do you still do like Trace, my wife, would love to do around Christmas? Like there were reindeer tracks in the house and like all that shit, and they whole hog believed in it. For somebody who didn't grow up with that, I was like, I get it.
Yeah, you get it.
This is
because it's awesome. You see the wonder. Yeah, the shit. Like when they see the milk and cookies, and like Santa, you're like,
yeah. And the elf on the shelf.
The elf on the
shit.
He is at the age though when he starts to like ask logistical questions. You know, he's like, well, how come if the chimney had the fire, and you're like, hey, how about you stop asking so many fucking questions? Just enjoy it. You know.
He's a moron.
Yeah,
Can't help himself.
Fucking. Yeah, he's like doors locked. I'm like, yeah, I know. He fucking locked.
It's magic, dude.
He has a key to the house. What do you think?
Yeah, it is interesting because a lot of times their perceptions won't quite match up with their not. Like I can remember when Maggie understood the mechanics of math, but not the context. So she would be like, so that means when I'm 60, you'll be 102. And I'd be like, yep. and won't we have fun?
Yeah.
You know, because they don't.
Yeah.
They're not understanding, but they got the logistics down.
We just had a death. Like, death starts to affect. I remember too that used to be like, oh, when you're a kid, you're like, my parents gonna die.
Yeah.
This just happened. Where
They just had a death and they know it.
no, they had. It just occurred to him like, because when you said that, I remember his mom.
This is an 8-year-old or 5-year-old?
5-year-old. They were both in the same room, but the 5-year-old, his mom left a sweater for him because she was gonna be gone. So he's like, he put the sweater on. He's like, this is mom's sweater. He's like, it's the only one in the world. And he looks at me. He goes, when she dies, it'll be mine. And I'm like, I go, yeah. And then
That's not even grief.
No,
That's
I
more
know.
like.
But then he goes, I don't want mom to die. And I go, oh, she's not gonna. And then he starts crying. He's like, I don't want her to die. And I go, buddy, it's a long way off, right? And then his brother's like, Mom is gonna live at least another probably 35 to 40 years. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. And then he goes, I just don't want mom to die. And my older son goes, I don't want mom or dad to die. And then the younger one goes, yeah, mom. And I was like, okay. Like, he clearly has his favorite here. He just doesn't want mom to die. That's cool.
Like you'll get one of them. Like my son to me was like, one day I will defeat you.
Yeah. Oh, really?
You think you can mop the floor? We used to go to jujitsu together.
Yeah.
I'd roll him around, you know. And all I was doing was old man weight. Like
Sure.
I would just lay on him with old man weight.
Just hold on.
And he would just be like, one day. And now he is like, he's like this.
Really?
Yeah, he fucked me up easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think I lost arm wrestling when they were like 15, and then it was over.
Yeah.
And I kept telling him, I go, dude, it's gonna happen. It's not gonna feel as good as you think it's gonna feel. Because here's what's gonna happen: you're gonna defeat him, and then you're gonna have a realization about the
How?
art, about the arc.
The cycle of life and everything.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But I like the idea though that he understood inheritance more than he understood.
Yeah.
He understood that all this one day
Yeah.
will be mine.
Yes. Yeah.
I will own it.
I will own all this.
Aren't the conversations are fucking fantastic.
Do you have that? Because so like your kids are older.
Yeah.
Do they must? I mean, they have a concept of obviously the fact that their dad is successful. Are they like, hey, this is gonna be pretty sweet? Like, when do you think you're gonna kick it? like,
They live more in the, so they also have the concept though that dad is controversial. So they also know, like, I'll get the, they're tearing you up on such and
Right.
such.
Yeah.
That they get that they've seen some really good things.
Yeah.
And they've also seen like me get the shit kicked out of me. Like I remember when I directed Irresistible the movie, wrote it, and like came out during the pandemic. So we're all like together. So everything we experienced in that, we became like the Borg, like just a pod that moved around the house.
Sure.
And when it came out, you know, we'd run the movie through previews and all other shit. And, like everybody's feeling pretty good. And then it came out, and like I got the shit kicked out of me. Like some of those reviews were like, they were the kind of reviews that like other reviewers would call that reviewer and be like, dude, that was fucking amazing.
Oh,
you know, hype like
really fucking kicking that.
you crushed that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. And my family was there, and like I could tell my kids were like, do we have to move?
right.
Like,
right.
Is
It's
it,
just all
and I kept telling them, like, guys, this is just, I'm in a dumb business. Like,
Yeah.
imagine at school you make artwork, right? And then everybody goes like, that's really pretty. So imagine you live in a world where you make the artwork, and then everybody's allowed to go like, that fucking sucks. That's a terrible. I don't want that in my house.
So that really must have changed perspective from them on how some of this works. Like, especially because you're well known and controversial or polarizing to some people.
Polarized. I'll
Like,
go with that.
do they get? They must have an understanding of, you know, how people get so into comments, right? Oh, look at
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how it's noise. Like, they, after a while, the first time you read comments that are crazy, you're like, oh my god, right? Like, it affects you. But they also probably are now, having lived with someone who has comments about them, kind of go like, oh yeah, this is just kind of noise, right? Like they.
I think their brains are also, I think you'll probably find this with your kids, like for us, this is a novel form of communication. So our brains are dealing with it as technology. It's not native. Like there's native functioning. It's sort of like when if you think about like your grandparents, they got on a plane, they were like, I'm in it too?
Yeah.
And we're going, what?
Yeah.
Like, to them, it's a spaceship, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go on a plane today.
Yes. Yeah.
So I do think there's probably something in their brain that allows them to filter the noise that you feel. Like, for me, it's not, we grew up in stand-up clubs. Like, you'd perform, and there'd always be like a table or two that might have thought you sucked, and like you clocked them.
Sure.
But then you left.
Right.
This technology means like you ride home with them in the cab, and the whole time they tell you what was wrong with you and your act. So I think for them, as long as I model sort of being fine, I think it allows them to.
So it's based a lot on you then, right? Like,
I would think to some extent. Don't you think your kids would? They're pretty intuitive.
Very.
About what's truly urgent or catastrophic and what's not.
And what's going on with you too. Yeah, they pick up on you and your vibrations.
And I also try to explain to them, like, you're seeing a snapshot of success that does in no way justice to the shit I ate for many, many years that you weren't a part of.
Yeah.
Living in conditions and doing things that you would find unacceptable.
Right.
In the world.
Yeah, that's funny. Like,
they don't get it.
They can't.
No. So seeing me get the shit kicked out of me a little bit, I think is helpful. A, because they see that it's not.
That makes sense.
It doesn't deter moving forward and making new things. And I just try and explain to them, like, look, man, I make things, and once I make it, it's kind of out of my control. And some people will think it's great, and you'll see that too, and that's almost more uncomfortable.
Sure.
Like, it's more uncomfortable for me if someone comes up and gives me the like, I love you.
Idolize, yeah.
Rather than like the comments of like, that sucked.
Yeah.
We are this
Or I
close
hate
to
you.
crowning an NBA champ, and with the action heating up on the court, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official.
Yeah, idolization is fucking weird.
NBA. There's only so many games left, and DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, live
Some
betting,
people just can't control
odds
themselves.
boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out, or you'll have to wait until next NBA season to place your bets. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple, like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your squad, and place your first bet. It's that simple. It's probably the first time in years I've been super excited about how exciting the NBA is. This postseason has been electric, and I'm super excited to get involved in this. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code BEARS. That's code BEARS for new customers to get a no-sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
A lot of life is unpredictable, but a good life insurance plan gives your family a financial safety net to protect against some of the unknowns. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It makes choosing the right policy for your family easy and quick. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options are 100% online and let you avoid those unnecessary medical exams. Trust me, that is the go-to move. If you can get out of those medical exams, they're just a pain in the ass. I'm telling you right now, this is a no-brainer. Policy Genius helps you compare your options from the top companies, and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help you talk through it, step by step. And Policy Genius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/bears or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com/bears.
Do people feel comfortable enough telling you that? Do people ever?
People feel very comfortable.
With you? Yeah, I was gonna say, because you're
Generally also with the negative.
really.
Oh yeah. I'll get that even in front of my kids. Hey man, I just want to let you know, like, I don't agree with anything that you say. Like, I think most of it is just fucking stupid. But I think you did for the 9/11 guys. That was real good.
Really?
Oh yeah. I'll get a lot of conversations because I live in kind of MAGA country. My wife and I usually play a game. We'll be going to the store and we play Trumper or Insurrectionist. So where we try and delineate yeah, that guy's going to vote for Trump, but he's doing it for tax purposes.
Oh, right,
And
right.
then this guy, yeah, he's wearing the horns and he's going in with the chest painted.
Sure.
But so all their friends and a lot of their friends' families are like very conservative.
Sure.
So they got very used to comments.
God.
Like their friends and their friends' parents will say to them like, you know, you're not going to turn my kid into that, right? Or like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they'll talk a lot of that stuff. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds.
It's really comfortable.
And you have. Yeah, it sounds like you have to develop like a giggle for it, right? Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yup. I get a lot of that. Like, hey man, I just want to let you know. Like, it really is almost like a preamble to meeting me down there. Is always, you and I don't agree on everything.
Yeah.
You and I don't agree on a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you make me think. You know, or
Hey.
something like that. Or you and I don't agree on everything, but I will let you shop here.
Cool. We will take your money.
Yes.
That's funny that like that actually feels. I mean, it's hilarious that somebody does the preamble to, you know, but also is at least a dialogue, right? Like so many people don't engage in civil dialogue. Like that feels
Right.
like somewhat civil, right? A little bit.
I
Like,
don't. You know, it's. I wouldn't say it's dialogue. I think what it is they feel there's something inside them that has to let me know.
you has to. Yeah, you got to know.
I don't think they're looking to be like, here's my feelings about the Second Amendment, and where I feel we differ, and where I feel we are sometimes on the same page.
Sure.
I think it's more that, I think it's the same as, it's a real bumper sticker area. Like there's a lot of, you know, like there's a dude that has, I mean, it's got to be 6 foot by 9 foot on his front lawn with a giant thing that says "fuck Joe Biden." Like on his front lawn in like
Letting
this
people know.
regular neighborhood. I always thought you change those. I was one of those. You
Yeah.
know, when you see something like that, you always think it's going to be like a different message every month. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, you know, loves. Nope.
Sure.
He's consistent.
Fuck 'em.
But there's something about that, something inside them that says, I need everyone to know
Mm-hmm.
in the clearest, most concise way possible who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that bumper sticker. I think they don't want me to maybe misconstrue that he might be liberal
Right.
or Democrat or progressive or anything other than don't tread on me.
I've seen more signs like that over the course of the last few years.
Yeah.
I'm saying nationwide, where somebody goes like, here's who I, you know, big proclamation. I feel like that's not something that we saw as much 25 years ago in as many front lawns where people would.
Now, because what are you gonna do, like in the Herbert Walker Bush shape?
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of the 1,000 points of light. Like now you'll see houses going
Yeah.
at each other.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Blue Lives Matter flag, MAGA, don't tread on me. Hate has no home here.
Yes. Stop Asian hate.
And
right, yes.
and they'll be next door to each other, and you just think, this is like I think they spend their days.
But do you feel like it's some kind of like a boiling point? Like it's like things are firing up more for people?
I think with almost everything, it's at a. I do think that social media is the kind of accelerant, and the algorithm is a kind of accelerant that radicalizes populations in a way that we haven't experienced. In the way of like, so AI is a radically new technology that's going to change the way that we live our lives and do all these things, as was the Industrial Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
But the Industrial Revolution played itself out over decades.
Right.
And so, yeah, did we go from horses to cars and then cars to highways? But that plays out in an analog kind of a way. You can chart its course.
Sure.
And its growth. Digital growth, that kind of geometric growth, is really hard for a population to catch up to. And I think any new technology like that creates disruption, right? The speed of it is, I think, what's different and leads to that feeling of explosiveness and disillusionment and not quite understanding, you know, how many times were we told what they say to people with globalization, like, It's okay if your family have been coal miners for 3 generations. You'll learn to program. You're like, I don't think I want. I think I have a connection to this.
Sure.
That displacement is now happening. Like, I don't know if you know anybody who's like a grant writer, but like you can go on ChatGPT tomorrow and make them obsolete. Like you could just type in, you know.
It's happening so fast.
It's so fucking fast.
It's so fast, and the other thing that is like, I think, so unique in this time is that you don't know what you're getting from whom at any time. So like whether it's AI or bots or another country's, program that they design, like there's so much coming at you that, I mean, I think personally I went through just like a fatigue and withdrawal, which I think is kind of normal in a way.
Absolutely.
You go
Do you mean from like participating in it, or
participating and consuming information? Like, I always felt like I grew up in a house that was a evening news watching house. There was always Time Magazine and Newsweek and the Times were like part, like that was just like
your house was like a dentist waiting room?
Yeah, exactly.
That's highlights in one corner and then the other thing. Yeah.
And then you just go like, okay, I have the information, but information is produced and consumed differently now. And then you go, and then every time you go, well, is this the place to get it from? Then they go, well, you don't know, this is actually owned by this corporation, and so this actually has an agenda. So then you kind of feel like, well, I don't know where to get information. And I mean, it all can feel overwhelming.
And where it's from, and always understand that there are those whose job it is to weaponize that confusion.
Weaponize, yes.
To weaponize that delivery system. And again, it's not like that's novel. I mean, yellow journalism shit. We got into the Spanish-American War based on the Vietnam War and the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Like, there's always been that misinformation, but it didn't travel at the speed of light in the way that it does now, where we're so far behind and we don't have processes in place to help establish certain guardrails around it. Like Industrial Revolution happened, that everybody's like, 6-year-olds in factories, what could go wrong? Yeah. And that evolved over time. You had the great sort of muckraking journalists like Upton Sinclair and Ida Wells and all those people that uncovered all of these abuses and all of these things and helped kind of resolve some of the like more devastating results of it. But I think now it's so fucking fast. I mean, there's nothing better than watching the Senate Committee on AI or any of those things, and you get like Zuckerberg and testifying and the guy from AI, and they're like, so let me get this straight. So there's a tube, and then I speak into the tube, and then the tube turns it into zeros and ones. Is that what I'm to understand? And they're like, well, it's sort of like that. So where do the zeros and ones go? And why do I look at it, it turns into porn? What's happening here? Like, it's just fucking crazy.
It's too crazy now.
Yeah.
Which is why, are you going to run for president?
Oh, I wanted to announce, and I really generally need 2 bears to make an announcement.
Yeah, I think but I mean, this is such a big one. How often do you get asked for that?
I think anybody that is in the space I'm in, I always view it as none of the above, in the way of it is a protest for the status quo being so unsatisfactory for people. It's the kind of thing that, like, I remember this was 15 years ago, somewhere along the line, 20 years ago, there was a poll done, and everybody made a big deal of it. Who is the most trusted newsman or newscaster in America? And it was Tom Brokaw and Peter Jennings and Brian Williams and Diane Sawyer and Jon Stewart.
Yeah. And
Jon Stewart won, running away.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to explain to people, like, I could have been dildo wrapped in gold, and that would have won. Because what people are expressing in that poll is, I'm dissatisfied with the status quo and the establishment delivery of this service. They have lost my trust. And so people in my area, I'm sure Mar gets it. Tucker Carlson gets it. Like all the people in the space of giving opinions
Yes.
about the day's event. I mean, that's honestly, how did Trump become
Well,
president?
I was about to say,
Same
it's,
shit.
It's the same analysis, right? Like, because everybody who goes, how the fuck is this guy president, or how is he getting this support? What most people you would hear, they're like, he's not like these other guys. He's not from that political landscape where they say the right thing, and like he was just this wild guy who was saying wild things, and then that was exciting to people. It was exciting that somebody was.
And the wilder it would get,
Yeah.
everybody
better.
kept saying, well, he certainly, now that he said that,
Yeah.
it's certainly done.
over. Yeah.
And everybody's like, he's going up in the. I think what ended up happening there is it was like an antibiotic resistant strain of something. And so people kept saying, well, certainly if we hit it with strep and if we hit it with erythromycin and penicillin, it would have to die.
Sure.
And then it was just like, not even close.
It's too strong.
Too strong.
It's way too.
Just
strong.
keeps going.
And I think too, it's it seems like everything is being done to not have this guy, on ballots and
Everything other than just have a better idea. Just fucking beat him.
Yeah,
Let's be done with
exactly.
this.
That is not being done.
No.
But all these other things, and I feel like if they succeed in getting him convicted or off ballots,
Right.
I do think people are going to lose it.
They won't. I don't think they'll succeed getting him off ballots in any way.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think that chance. I think if they had done, and again, part of this is his understanding of the system. Part of his appeal was the system is rigged.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everything he's experienced through here is an example of that, just not necessarily the way he thinks. I think it's showing if you've got money, doesn't matter how many felony counts they throw at you.
Yeah.
You can hold that off till you get granted complete immunity by becoming president of the United States. But the difference is somebody can be right about a diagnosis and wrong about the remedy.
Mm-hmm.
So like he can diagnose the system as rigged, and it obviously is. I mean, when they talk about his real estate transactions and they talk about everybody comes out and goes, that's just how things are done. Like you go to the bank, you lie about what you have, they give you more money than they should at a lower rate. And then when you go there, you lie about that, and then they go, and you just go like, oh really, that's how it is. And so the interesting thing is once that gets exposed, a reformer comes in and says, I'm going to straighten this out and make it fair.
Again.
Because it's right. Special interests. You got to go down Washington all the time, man. There's more defense contractor lobbyists than there are people in Congress.
Yeah.
They're outnumbered.
Sure.
And they are wined and dined.
Deep
and,
pockets.
The greatest example is like Wall Street. People in New York, the senators, the Congress people are supposed to be progressive. Wall Street gets away with a shit ton because they pay all those legislators. This would be the place where reform would have a home. New York City. And they're all like, why should, well, maybe the tax should be 20% on capital gain. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if you have a hedge fund, it shouldn't get taxed like regular money. And so you see how powerful, like, they don't have fucking time. I remember when we went down there for the first version of what was called the PACT Act, which was that Toxic Exposure Act for veterans. So we got together a bipartisan group of congresspeople, and we all sat around the table. And I was there with Rosie and Leroy Torres, who were going to lay out, like, what they'd been through over the last 10 years, what was going on these military bases, all the terrible health effects of the different things. It was very similar to the 9/11. We lay it all out, very compelling. They're all on board. And then they go, but here's the thing. So there's so much going on down here. Could you guys write it? The legislation. Could you write it? And I'm like, I could write a 10-minute bit about the legislation, but I don't know the first thing about it.
Right.
They don't know the first. But in that moment, I thought, oh, that's how this shit happens. So imagine you're not trying to get health care for veterans. You're trying to get banking regulations so that you can make derivative swaps on mortgages and blow up the world financial system. And you go in and you say, oh, this is this thing and it makes a ton, and they go, so could you write it if I have to?
Right.
And they write it.
Wow.
So much of the legislation is influenced and written by the people it's supposedly reining in. And so there's like a wealth incumbency built into the system, or a legislative incumbency for these larger industries that weeds out competition, it infuses corruption, and it's really hard to stop. And what Trump is saying is, yeah, that system is rigged, but what he's not saying is, and I'll reform it, what he's saying is, so if you don't mind signing that deed over to me, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And that's the part that he's not interested in a fairer system. He's interested in to the victor go the spoils.
Yeah, that's very much, I think. And I think he's actually very transparent about that, you know? Like, I think
Yeah.
it doesn't take a lot to pick that up from him.
Yes, somewhat through happenstance. Like, he'll go down to the billionaires at the Mar-a-Lago and be like, don't worry.
Yeah. No, but what you said, though, it's so disheartening to hear about how the system works. Like, how do you keep from being, like, knowing so much, seeing that firsthand and not being so cynical and just disheartened by everything?
You know those, they sell them now, it's like mushrooms and chocolate. That helps.
That helps a
Just
lot?
a little bit. You take just a little bit of that.
Nootropics?
I think that's something along those lines.
Sure.
They come up with the names like Fun Guys.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it is, right? I mean, it does, like,
Yeah.
kind of take the wind out of your sails a little.
Absolutely. Those years lobbying down there were incredibly dispiriting. And I was a drop-in.
Yeah.
Like, I came in to provide air support for people. Like, they were there every day. Like, I ended up feeling like my role was to go down there and almost like USO shows.
Yeah.
Like, they've been in the trenches, so I'm gonna go down there and be like, yeah, da 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 da, and kind of fire them up and think of ways around this really stultifying status quo. Everybody has establishment thinking. I mean, they literally call the way bills are passed regular order. You have to go through regular order. And you're like, but if we go through regular order, all these people are going to die. So why don't we do not regular order? Like, when I ended up testifying in front of Congress, the whole, not the firefighters in the cop, but all the congressional people were like, just don't, like, just be cool. Like, everything's going fine. Like, don't rock the boat. Really? Yeah. And then the other guys would come up and be like, John, you gotta fucking tell these people what's going on.
Yeah.
Because, John, it's a fucking nightmare. You know? So I felt a responsibility to them.
Sure.
To not let them down in front of. But I think what happens is they get ensconced in this really protected system. And they lose sight of the people that they're supposedly there to kind of represent. And they're only responding to either media prompts or lobbyist prompts or activist prompts. Like, I'm talking about political activists, like right-wing, left-wing activists. And those are the only three groups that you would imagine have influence. But most people are fucking busy. Like, think about, like, for taxes, right? The Democrats always say, like, we need to tax billionaires. Okay, but what are you going to use it for?
Well, that's the big knock on the Dems usually. It's just like, more programs, right? More, yeah.
But what are those programs? And
who cares? Just spend.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of
the thing that I always felt they needed to do was tie spending to value. Like, if you talk to people and you want to know what would help, because most people, at least I think in the general area of like what you would consider middle class, maybe a little lower than middle class, a little above middle class, are stuck in this weird trap, which is I work till I'm fucking 40 or 50, till my kids are going to college. Now I'm paying for their college, but But just at that moment, my fucking parents are getting sick. And all of a sudden now, I'm paying for them while I'm trying to pay. So now I'm in debt on the college for the kid while also maybe going into a little bit of a debt for the parent. So now everything that you built up, all that equity, right, over those 20 years of work is gone. And what you really could have used was education that didn't cost so much, maybe some fucking child care, maybe some fucking elder care, something that connects to your life.
And it feels like we live in a place where that seems like it should be possible to do.
No reason, like it makes no sense.
But you'd have to take from some other program, right? Like that's the whole thing. Is no.
I don't know if it's a question of not having resources as much as it is not directing them in the right way. So I think some of it is like, even if you look at food stamps, right? So food stamps ostensibly is like a pretty good program. Like people, first of all, there shouldn't be food insecurity in a country as rich as this.
Right.
That's just ridiculous. But the really strange part of it, to me, is food subsidies, food stamps are really a subsidy to like Kraft or Nabisco or the giant food conglomerates, because the majority of the foods that people are buying are these ultra processed, shitty box foods.
That's where those stamps are going.
Right. They're going to sodas and shitty foods that go right into PepsiCo. Like, we don't do anything that doesn't have a middleman with a corporate owner to it. So all that government money goes, it's really their subsidies. Like, why is there corn syrup and everything?
Yeah.
It's the fucking government just paying farmers for, and then they're just giving the corn syrup and fructose to, like, and so what do? They give us all fucking diabetes.
Yeah.
And then what's the next step?
Yeah.
Big Pharma comes in.
I got your back.
And now you're in the cycle.
Yeah.
They're literally
And most
combating
people are-
the drug of ultra-processed food with the drugs from Big Pharma.
This is the trap that so many people get locked into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are we getting for it? All that money that we go in, and we have the highest drug prices in the country, in the world. So that's when people go like, yeah, this system is rigged, but you can't change it because that's socialism.
Right.
If you do it any other way, no, you have to let, even Obamacare, that the right complains about, is basically a giveaway to insurance companies. What the government is saying is, how about we just give you a shit ton of money, and with that shit ton of money, you'll cover people that like maybe you wouldn't normally cover, and you can still give them a $5,000 deductor, and they can still go to hospitals where you don't even know where like the charges are coming from.
And even that.
Yeah. Are we really suggesting, like, I'm not saying you don't want to have like private corporations and private property and innovation and all those different things, but do we have to subsidize it?
But do you think anybody will ever actually step in and really disrupt this cycle?
Look what Cuban did.
With the pharmaceutical company?
Yeah.
That was amazing. That company.
That can be done everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that for people that don't know, Mark Cuban started this pharmaceutical company that he found out, which meds there were accessible to kind of to buy and do like a kind of a minimal marginal markup on. And then there's
which ones were, crazy marked up, and which ones were being artificially withheld, and all
it's basically fair priced drugs,
Right.
essentially, which is a
I mean, they put old people on buses to Mexico to get like insulin.
It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy.
But when you get down there, you go, oh, I know how this happened, because they have access to the people who write the laws. The laws don't need to be 1,000 pages. The complexity of our tax code wasn't put there by poor people. The complexity of our legislation wasn't put there by poor people.
Yeah.
It's put there by the lobbyists and the industries that are carving out loopholes and safe spaces and extra ways they can make money.
To keep it coming in. Yeah. It's it's cartel shit, really.
Cartel shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only solution for all this is probably The Rock maybe running for president.
There's very little. So once The Rock teamed up with Roman Reigns,
Yeah.
that's when I realized, like, oh, he can't be stopped.
No.
Like when they were rivals.
That's a totally different time. But now you've stepped in the ring before. Yeah.
Sure. I have. Did you see that tape?
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Really?
The things you'll do now. Your kids, the 8-year-old, is he into that yet?
No. He's really into Minecraft, the game, and Roblox.
The things that you will do.
Which was funny is that, so I found out, man, I had like a week, and not even. I was on the road. They had a 2-week spring break.
Yeah.
You guys get 2 weeks? I don't remember getting 2 weeks.
Not at that age.
No. And so I had this crazy idea. I was like, what if they're filming the Minecraft movie in New Zealand? And I was like,
Oh my God.
I hit up Jason Momoa, who's in the movie.
No.
He's like, come on down. So I flew him there, and I take my 8-year-old to New Zealand. And I'm like, we're gonna see the Minecraft set. He's like, oh, cool. And then he walks on. He's like, holy shit, this is on. I'm like, right? And then he's like, all right, what do you want to do now? I'm like, this is it, dude. like this is it, bro. And then
What do you want to do?
yeah,
now?
I'm like, this is what
No. We're here
Flew
in New Zealand.
16 hours. Buddy.
Right.
And then Jason has a dog, and he was just like, oh, this dog's fucking awesome. He played with the dog 6 hours.
You could have taken him to the ASPCA.
Yeah. And then the next day, I was like, it's our second day here. What do you want to do? He's like, I want to play with that dog again. And so I played with the dog. Like, thanks for having us. Flew back. I was like, what'd you think of the Minecraft set? He's like, cool.
Love that dog.
Yeah, the dog is the shit.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
It's only, boy, you shouldn't have started.
I know.
That's that grand gesture, like on your 3rd date where you're like, and then we flew to Paris.
Yeah, exactly.
And I lie, and you're like, are you a sociopath?
Man.
Like, you're never gonna now.
I know, and I realize it's like a lot of. I think in terms of gifts a lot. I like gift
Oh,
giving.
that's nice.
You know, it's like one of my, I guess, my love language.
Oh.
But the real thing you realize when you're into any type of gift giving, the gift is for you. It's you going. You give it to somebody.
Yeah.
But it's your excitement of like.
Yeah, it feels great.
It feels good.
And when you nail it.
Yeah, when you nail it, you feel. But yeah, he was just like, yeah, awesome.
That's it. And it's just gonna end. What's so interesting is the joy you feel being able to, like, I made the mistake of whatever show my kids were into, I would try and get on it.
Christina just did it with Is It Cake, the Netflix show. She just did it. She's just.
And the kids like it?
Yeah.
Do they still like it?
I mean, they were into the episode. They watched it, and then yeah.
See, I didn't figure in production time.
Yeah. So you did all the things your kids loved, right?
It was a thing called Jack's Big Music Show. First, I did Jack's. It's called Jack's Big Music Show. It was this great. It was like this super odd little puppet music show, and the kids loved it, and I loved. Like, once they move on from like Little Bear and Caillou and all that shit into like SpongeBob and good stuff.
Yeah. And you're like,
It's awesome.
yeah.
So they do this. I can't.
Hey y'all, as always, I appreciate you for watching. Hope you have a good day. Take it easy.